Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Friday, welcome in everybody. Sports take on this beautiful Friday. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. What's up, my man?
What's the deal? What's the deal?
How y'all doing today, man?
Friday, man. Friday, bruh.
You got to be doing good. You got to be doing good.
You know, Rob, on Monday, remember you were talking about how when we look at the days of the week, people look at a Monday like it's blah day,
Yeah.
but I feel just as good today as I did on Monday, to be honest. You know,
you got it figured out, man. You got life all figured out. You're good. I like it.
Well, see, today, I have to pick up my grandson. I pick up my grandson from preschool at 3:30 today, and I love seeing he's got this backpack. He's dinosaurs everything.
He's a dinosaur guy. All right.
Kid can pronounce every dinosaur you can think of. I can't even pronounce half the names of these dinosaurs. So between my wife, my oldest daughter, and his mom, they buy him all. I mean, these things sharp dinosaur T-shirts. He has a dinosaur backpack. Yeah. When he sees me, he has his backpack almost big as he is. Now he's a little dude, 3 years old. He comes running down the hall, and I'm thinking, please don't fall on your face. Please. Please don't fall on your face. So I get to pick him up at 3:30 today, and then the 11-month-old granddaughter's coming. We're keeping her tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. Pray for us, because I'm telling you, man, getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning and 5 in the morning, and
I don't miss those days. I don't miss. I don't miss the. My son was up. My firstborn is my son. He was up every hour and a half when we first took him home from the hospital. My daughter's up through the night.
Was he a screamer?
Yeah, he was. And I was working like night shift. So I was working like whatever you call second shift, I guess then. So I was working like 3 to 11:30-ish. So well, yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's all good. But I would stay up with him.
Oh man.
I come home from work and I would just stay up. I wouldn't go to sleep. So I would stay up with them till like 3 or 4, and then I would go to sleep and then hand them off to my wife, and then I would sleep till whatever. But it was crazy, man. Those days were nuts. And then my daughter was good through the night. Boom, as soon as we got her home. Dude, everybody's different, man. Everybody's,
My oldest kid. Now my wife, she had a C-section, so we moved from Milwaukee to Pittsburgh less than 2 weeks after she was born.
Damn.
And the doctors had told her, you shouldn't be walking up and down stairs and stuff. Well, we ended up in this townhouse in a great development where we had 2 levels of stairs, one going to the basement, and where the delivery guys put all the boxes, and then the first level, then the second level. Well, I had to hit the ground running, starting a job at NBC in Pittsburgh the next day. So she's at home by herself most of the time with this screamer. She would have to go down in the basement until I could get home to find the pots, the pans, and stuff she needed. And this kid was a screamer. When I say screamer, she didn't just cry. She screamed. She was a colicky baby.
Yeah.
She screamed like somebody was killing her. Well, I told you guys, we couldn't even go out and have dinner together. When we did go out, my wife would eat. I'd be in the hallway with the baby.
Right.
When she would finish, and we changed. It was like, and I'm thinking, why did we have 2 more after this? I'm telling you, man, it was that. And then I'd come home because I was working a lot of night shifts, and I'd help my wife. So when the baby's crying at night, just to give my wife some relief, I had the baby. I'm rocking the baby 1:30, 2:30 in the morning.
That was me.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I didn't have to get up sometimes off a night shift and be back in office by 10, 11 the next day. Dude, some days I couldn't even feel my legs, man. I was so bad.
There's nothing like that feeling when like you're looking at the clock and you're like, oh my God, I got to be up in 2.5 hours.
Yes.
I am screwed. I am screwed, man.
Yes, dude. You be sitting at your desk like this.
Yep. 100%.
I'm thinking I'm going to get fired. I ain't going to be here long.
That's life though, man.
We were there 10 years. We were in Pittsburgh 10 years. So it worked out.
And look at them now. The sweetest people in the world. The sweetest people in the world, man. Both your all your kids are the sweetest people in the world, man. Yeah, they're all great kids.
I will say this. I I will say this about my kids. Do they drive you nuts? Yes, but I tell you what, the one thing I'm proudest of about these kids is that they're very, very diversified in terms of talents, different things they can do: acting, singing, drawing, art. And even to this day, all three are in their 30s and they're well-mannered. Like when you go places, yes, please, no, thank you, in restaurants. And we've had times when we've been out and sometimes the waiter or waitress is like, wow, I'm not used to people saying yes, please, and no, please, And so that's one of the proudest things I am about my kids, is that we drilled it in them, and we're doing the same thing with the grandkids.
That's great.
My 3-year-old grandson, can you give me this? Can I give you this? What? Can you give me that, please? So it's just repetition. You want something, you better have some manners. So and my kids and me and my wife, we harp on this stuff, and eventually they'll get it.
Yeah.
But
hey, that's the way it is. It's a lost art, unfortunately, but it's important, man. Especially the way things are these days. That's for sure.
Yeah, these kids. They have no type of understanding of what it is to be around your elders or anything else.
No, there's a very little respect for older folks. There's an entitlement, not to sound like the old men.
Right.
It's too much.
It's true.
It's true. Too much.
Well, see, Rob, you at least you were stationary your whole life. You're from here, so your kids were raised here. Me and my wife have been mobile all of our marriage, and we got to know people that we consider family, but initially we leave our kids anywhere. It was just me and her, and for the most part, her, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was tough, because she's very close to her family, and I drug her away from her family. And we made life on the road. We went from San Diego, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh to here, and it's tough. You miss the big family.
I know, poor Trish.
Sister Gunn, man.
It's not right, man.
Poor sister Gunn. What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying, man. You just ripped her from her family, man. And
I know. And no regard.
Hold on.
Right.
Let's go. Hold on just a second. Hey, Trish.
Oh, here we go.
Barrett says, poor sister Gunn, I ripped you from your family. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he feels my pain.
Did you hear what she said? I thought she would be a little more gentle with her response. She goes, yeah, he feels my pain.
You thought she was going to be on your side when you pulled her in.
No.
Yes, you did.
I wasn't expecting her to be on my side because I've had to live it. I understand. She's very close to her family and missed out on a lot of big holidays, family get-togethers, and we made our own family. In a lot of ways. I understand, but I didn't think she would go straight for the jugular.
Rip for the headlines.
But yeah, man, just being around both of you guys' families, being around your kids, man, they're awesome, bro. They are awesome. And you guys did a great job, man. They're awesome. I even helped.
So did you?
Right, and I'm sitting back, see, it's not just your family, D Gun. It's also Rob's family, bro. I'm at the game one time. We were at the baseball game, and I see his son walking by. I'm like, hey, come here. He has his boys with him. Hey, come on in the suite with me. So they go in the suite, man. They crushed the food. They were looking for something to eat. They were downstairs. I said, come on upstairs.
Marge's suite.
Yeah, come on, man. Marge, Marge is going to care. Come on, man. Let's go in here. So we go upstairs. We go in there. They crushed the food, man. When I left, but just before we left, there were crumbs. Around.
He would do I'd either be at a game with him and we'd have nosebleed seats. He'd be like, I'll be right back. I'm like, all right. Jeez. And I'm texting him. I'm like, dude, where are you? I'm in the suite with Barrett. I'm like, what?
He got you in the suite.
I'm like, what? He's like a picture of him and Barrett eating hot dogs. I'm like, what is going on here, man?
Hey, Rob.
He's like, don't worry about it. It's all good. I'm like,
hey, Rob. I love Barrett's wife, and I got to tell this story. This is I want to say 5-6 years ago, and I was starting to get to know Barrett real well. And so one day his wife pulls up.
We were going to the Super Bowl.
We're getting ready to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And his wife pulls up, and I didn't know her that well then. And this was at a time when Barrett was going through negotiations and stuff for a contract, right? So his wife pulls up. She looks at me. We're just talking casually. And she looks at me. She goes, D-Gun, can you help my husband get more money? I'm like, huh? She goes, because what he makes right now is lunch money. I fell out laughing. I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, I'm like, okay.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome.
Like, okay,
Yeah, there was no easing into that one.
no.
Boom. I love it.
Oh
man.
my goodness.
Hey, there's something to be said for being direct. Okay.
Right.
You know,
No
That's
sugarcoating.
awesome.
oh my goodness.
Sanji's the best. I mean, you guys we're all blessed, man. We are all blessed. That is true. What's up, everybody? I see everybody on there. So John took his son to the Phillies game yesterday. I guess John's in Wisconsin.
In Milwaukee. Okay.
He says, I'll throw it up there. We can check this out. Pretty cool. As we're going in, no one else is around. The old Brewers employee says to me, "We never boo our teams." I said, "Good for you." Okay. What's up with your Brewer people taking shots, man? What's up with that?
You know what? Because we're just good Midwestern people, man. We have respect for our players. We understand they go through trials and tribulations in life. We're not throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, and
Bro, you're wrong for that because I realistically, when I played for Green Bay,
right,
like all the big name guys, all the big name guys had to have security with them. They couldn't just go to the clubs and stuff. They would have security with them wherever they went. So I ain't seen that many guys with security with them.
But you see, now you're tainting the story. They would have to have security because so many people would come up to them and always want their autographs. Not like they were worried, not like they were in fear of getting jumped or starting a starting a fight.
Because we never see that kind of stuff in the Midwest. We didn't see that happen to a first base coach for the Chicago White Sox when it was a father-son duo who beat the guy almost senseless. We never see that kind of stuff.
No, we don't have stuff in the Midwest, dude. We're just good old country folk in the Midwest.
Okay.
See, unlike you people on the East Coast where you got to carry brass knuckles and chains and all this stuff. I'm just saying, man.
Hey, I see everybody. So James took his little man to see Jurassic Park.
No,
I did too. I saw it too.
And
no, he's telling me to take my little guy to go see Jurassic Park.
He's doing. I see Philly. I see Chris. Gigi, what's up? Yeah. Eric, what's up, guys? So and by the way, hit the like button, folks. Later, Barrett and I are gonna get our Siskel and Ebert on for you older folks who know what they were movie reviewers back in the day. So Barrett, you're gonna give the Jurassic World a review, and I'll give Hustle, the Adam Sandler flick that was filmed in Philly. I watched that on Netflix last night. So
I started watching it this morning, but I couldn't get through it.
You see John Dickerson taking shots at Midwestern people? Look at this.
Big folks. Ouch.
They have a hard time breathing, so breathing might kill. Oh, really, John? That's where you want to go with this?
Bro, man, that's still the best joke I ever heard about Green Bay, dog. 300-pound
what do you call a 300-pound woman from Green Bay? Anorexic? Dude, I'm telling you, that was one of the funniest things I'd ever heard.
That sounds like a Charles Barkley line. Like that sounds like something Barkley.
Well, that's what
Barkley said that about San Antonio women. Yeah.
On TV, on national TV.
He took a lot of heat, man. He took a lot of heat for it.
Oh, he kept talking about how much he loved the churros of food, but he said he kept.
What's up, Mama Brooks?
Morning, Mom. And they're trying to tell Barkley, dude, don't say this.
What's up,
He kept talking about big women in San Antonio.
Oh yeah.
Like, are you nuts?
Well, he can sort of get away with it, but even now it's even hard for Barkley to get away with it. Like 10, 15 years ago, you can't now, man. Those days are over.
Oh no, there's no way you can do that. You can't get away with anything.
And Chuck gets away with more than anybody, but he can't get away with this stuff anymore, man.
Man.
It is a different ball game now, man. And look, Gigi brings up, and he's not wrong. There's been some, and look, this is why I don't just label any one city or whatever. But some really bad stuff in LA, man, with Dodgers.
Not just LA, Oakland, San Francisco.
Oakland, yes. So look, it's everywhere. Unfortunately, it's. Yes. I was watching a video last night. So the Rangers Lightning game ends, and the Lightning beat the Rangers in New York. And
what a game!
Yeah, it was a great game. And this dude was minding his own business, and obviously you don't know all the context of what happened before. But this dude, he's a Lightning fan. And he's just walking, like they're leaving. He's exiting out. He's in the hallways, in the corridor. He's kind of walking. Ranger fan walks up behind him and clocks him from behind. Dude never saw him. And not knocked him out cold. Like the dude was out, gone, like out.
Seriously.
Now, to other Rangers fans hurried over to assist the guy and all this, but like my only point is, and it's not just it's everywhere, man.
It is, but that's why I've said time and time again, whether it's during a game, before a game, or after a game, if you get caught doing something that's stupid, you should never be allowed in a sports venue again.
Yeah,
ever. I mean, not just one season, but ever. Because what if the dude that hit the guy and knocked him out? What if he has kids? What message are you sending your kids?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care who you root for. When you go to a sports venue, a concert, or anything, it's to go for pure entertainment. You should not be in fear of your life,
right?
Or be in fear of wearing an opposing team's jersey. But some cities take pride in the fact that they intimidate other people when they come into your stadium. And I've never understood that. You know what? If you're going to do that, stay home. Yeah. Stay home and watch the game.
Well, it's a strange thing that takes place in ballparks or stadiums or arenas. And there's sort of a gang mob mentality too, but whatever. Like, just because you bought a ticket doesn't give you the right. You sit there and boo. Who cares? Boo,
yeah, boo whatever you want.
Hey,
what's your opinion?
Get on somebody in a good way. That's part of being a fan. I have zero issue with that part. But you start cursing at someone, it gets racial. Whatever. I mean,
and you have kids sitting there.
We all know what the line is, right? But for some reason, like, you would never do that to that dude's face. Like, I'm sure people said stuff to Barrett in the stands. And if Barrett and that same individual are one-on-one, there's no way that dude's saying that. And that's
crazy.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part of it that you're like, dude, first of all, you're gutless because you're doing, know, this guy can't react essentially. Right. Or and same thing. Let me not just guy. I'm sure it happens in WNBA and women's sports too. But all this kind of stuff that goes on, there's this like herd mentality where you get your muscles and, it's the same thing online. It's the same thing that happens, on social media, unfortunately, because that's really anonymity. But it's something that's got to change, man. There's something's got to give.
I'll tell you what's the worst is NBA games, and fortunately and unfortunately, we now have the privilege of hearing a lot of stuff that goes on courtside. Now, you figure the people who sit closest to the court are supposedly the upper crust of society, because those tickets are $1,500, $3,000 a piece, and so those are supposed to be the elite of the elite in terms of fan base. And some of the stuff that comes out of their mouths to players now, and players will tell you, I don't care if you don't like me, you want to boo us if we're playing bad, more power to you. But some of the derogatory stuff that comes out of fans' mouths, and it gets to a point where some players will actually turn and engage them. Yeah. Because you hear some of the foulest language. Right. And what was going to happen with Chris Paul during the playoffs this year?
His family was in Dallas. I think it was his mom.
Yeah.
His mom and his
wife.
Maybe.
Yeah. And a couple of his kids.
Mom and his wife. Yeah. The fan came up and it was a kid.
An 18-year-old kid,
young kid
is harassing his family to the point where you saw the video. Chris Paul turns to the kid and says, "You know what? I will be seeing you again. I will be seeing you again."
Yeah. And
you don't do that.
No, I mean, and the other part is like his whole family had to they couldn't stay and watch the rest of the game because of all that nonsense.
Exactly.
So look, it just goes back to a lot of stuff that's going on in our world, man. But there's a lack of respect for each other, and I think there's a lack of respect for human life. Not to get too deep with some of the shootings that we have going on, but there's a lack of respect for your fellow man or woman as well. And we gotta nip this in the bud, man, or else it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And
the days of being tough are over with, man. That tough stuff don't work anymore, bro. No. I mean, you used to be able to fist fight somebody. Now you can't even fist fight somebody. You beat somebody up now, or they trying to shoot you. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
See, I'm with Big Sarge. Big Sarge in the comment section says, "Bring back the court and jails like the old Eagle Stadium." I have no problem. Bring it. I wish every venue brought back the Kangaroo Court. Take them downstairs, prosecute them right there.
Judge McCaffrey. Yeah, Seamus McCaffrey.
Well, hold on. Let me tell you this though. Worst thing about that, the first night they have that court in. It was a Monday night game. It was a San Fran game.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And it just so happened I got my wife's cousins tickets to the game. And lo and behold, who's the first person to get arrested and go to court in the I got him tickets.
Are you kidding me?
In the wives section. No. He has tickets because I gave him my personal tickets. Ooh. And I'm sitting there talking to Christy Jones. He nudges me like, "Yo, bro, that's your wife and your cousin right there, right? Turn around.
Oh no.
I said, yes.
Oh,
and
no.
it's her cousin getting arrested.
Dude.
He was the first person to get tried. I'm like, Dave, come on.
Wow.
Dave, come on.
Yeah, dude, and then you got to keep playing. You got to play. You know that stuff's going on, like as if it's not hard enough to deal with what
Exactly.
you're dealing with.
First of all, you know you're from Philly and everything else, and you're a 49er fan.
Oh,
but then
wait.
get you tickets,
dude. Hold on. He was rooting against your team.
Yes.
I mean,
I love it.
I'm not trying to I would never get that guy tickets. With all due respect.
Exactly.
You're playing for the Eagles and got him the tickets, and he's rooting against you.
Yes.
Dude. Sorry.
Yes. You're done.
Nope.
You're
Nope.
done.
Nope.
Hey, you guys were talking about your movie reviews. Chris D checking in from Hawaii says, hey, look, no spoilers, please. I haven't seen Jurassic Park or Top Gun Maverick yet going this weekend. Well, Chris, the only thing I can tell you is you might not want to be on the show for that particular segment of the show. So all I can say.
We're not going to say anything.
Yeah, I won't spoiler alert it. I'll just give him a review. I won't do that. Yeah, I respect that. I won't.
Yeah, but if you give the review, you have to give away certain things.
No, I can give enough.
I'm not going to.
I'll sprinkle enough details in where I won't ruin it for. Nah, we won't do that.
Right. I mean, you could watch the trailer. I'll just give you the trailer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the trailer's amazing also.
The trailer, I saw the trailer when I saw Top Gun. It looked freaking awesome, man.
It was, bro.
It was.
Good.
It's a good thing that I haven't seen either movie because I'm spilling everything. I'm
Well,
telling
look at this,
everything.
though. But look at this, though.
What?
I got the tickets for 8 o'clock because my show is live at 6 o'clock.
Right.
Lo and behold,
Phillies
the Phillies
No.
have a 4-hour game, 4 and some change game.
Oh, no.
Oh, and bro, what was it, like 400 pitches in that game?
Yeah,
over
498,
398, I believe it was.
Here's something. I was watching the post game show, and you guys do your little hit, your teaser.
Right, yeah.
So it's you. I guess it's you and Danny, right? Was it you and Danny?
Me and Danny Pomel.
So Amy is hosting post game yesterday. Amy Fadul, our friend Amy. I guess Michael B was off, but so you guys do your thing. You did your hit with a baseball glove. I saw it.
Yeah,
see, I'm watching you, man. I'm watching.
I got a baseball glove, throw it up in the air. I'm like,
yeah. So you could tell, like Barrett and Danny were slightly annoyed. Ricky Bo was straight up pissed off. Like Ricky Bo was just like, I can't even believe how long this freaking. And Ricky doesn't even like pretend. He's just saying it out loud. Like if you tell Ben and Amy are like, all right, Ricky.
You're like, oh, and by the way, 400 pitches.
Yes.
Come on, 400 pitches.
Well, what time did you get done your show? Like, were you able to make the movie?
We started.
On time?
Yeah, we actually we started on our show at 6:52. 6:52. So we went a half an hour, and I was able to get out by 6:25. 7:25, and I had to haul out.
Yeah, right. So you
going over bridge, get over. Yeah.
Okay.
So I made it, and they had already started the the pre-show, the trailers.
Trailer. So the good thing is you always have about a 15-minute buffer from whenever because there's so many trailers that they show now.
Yeah.
So you get.
I love the pre-movie trailers. Some cases as much as the movie.
Exactly. Because you were able to see Jurassic Parks.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
See, some people go to movies, they want to get there just in time to see the main movie. I'm ticked off if I can't get there. My family tell you, I'm ticked off if I can't get there to see the pre-movie, all the different movies that are coming out within the next 6 months. Yeah. I want to see the trailers.
They for Top Gun, they hit Jurassic Park really hard. It was a long trailer. And
wow.
The other one? There's an Elvis movie coming out where Tom Hanks plays like what was the guy? Colonel Sam? What was his name? Colonel something?
Colonel Sanders.
Not Colonel Sanders. I don't know. Whoever his guy was, Colonel something. I don't know. I think that's who Tom Hanks.
That looks like it's gonna be pretty good, though, man. You know,
the dude looks like Elvis. Him does look like Elvis. But there was a couple other good ones. I forget what the other ones were.
I know there's supposed to be a new. What was that movie with the blue people?
The blue people.
Avatar.
Avatar. New one's coming out?
Yeah, Avatar 2 coming out.
Oh.
Yeah. Colonel Parker. Thank you, John. Colonel Parker.
Hey,
Colonel Sanders. Yeah, he was giving Elvis fried chicken the whole time. It was great. It's perfect.
And we need to get Chris D on the show so she can give us a workout segment, give us some pointers and stuff.
That's right.
And Chris, I won't mess up again and call you Mr. or whatever.
Yeah, she might punch you in your throat, dude. I paid to see that.
Now I pay attention to the picture where she's crushing, doing her workouts. I got you.
Yeah, we need to get on there and give us some workout, some pointers, man. I need to loosen up these old bones, man. I'm
telling you, man. I hear you.
I wake up, man. My knee sounds like styrofoam when I start walking, man.
Oh yeah, you get out of bed, it's like
what?
It sounds like a tree's
right.
The branches off a tree are just breaking off as we speak. All right, headliners, guys. So a couple things. Phillies keep it rolling. Yesterday, Barrett mentioned it was a long one, but at least they won. Okay, so it was the 7th straight win. Believe it, guys. A week ago, we'll get more into this in a minute. A week ago is when the news came down that Joe Girardi was fired right before we came on the air. Yeah. Well, how much has changed in a week with this team in terms of the optimism level?
They're 2 games below 500 now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They had 3 more home runs yesterday. That's like 16 in 7 games.
7 in a row.
Gunner, they have a plus 33 run differential under Thompson. Plus
crazy.
33, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's unreal. Harper keeps going. Schwarber keeps going. Didi Gregorius all of a sudden is on fire. Like. Everybody's stepping up, man. So, yeah, they keep it rolling. Phillies win. As I mentioned, the Lightning go up 3-2 on the. They've won 3 straight now. You remember they were down 0-2 in that series.
Who did I tell you was going to win that series?
Yeah. No, you had Tampa. You had Tampa.
I didn't know. I had forgotten that Tampa is the back-to-back defending champs. I forgot about that.
They're bordering on a dynasty here. I mean, they're getting close.
We talk about how devoid of talent the Flyers are. You look, even if the Rangers get bumped in this round. I saw during the game last night, they put up a stat. They have 7 of their key players are between the ages of 20 and 24.
Oof.
7 of their key players between 20 and 24.
Yeah.
Stop, man.
And when they press us more, man.
And here's the thing, when they put the 7 names up on the screen, 4 of them are 20.
Yeah, they've done a really – you know what they did? Here's what they did. They sort of did almost the Sixers process. Not quite, to those that degree. But they kind of went in the tank a little bit. And then –
They want JT back?
And then came back strong, man. They came back strong. Huh?
Did they use JT, one of the picks for JT?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it, Barrett. I don't know exactly what they did, but they've really built that thing in a smart. I hate to say it, man. And they're gonna be tough to deal with for a long, long time, man. Joey B checks in. Yeah, Joe, I got my Tar Heel gear on when we did our visit. I love the Carolina blue, man. I love that color.
Yeah. Hey, people, let us know where you're checking in from. Every day we'd like to know where you guys checking in from.
Yeah, we do. We always. And Joey B's from out in Denver. I'm sure he's enjoying the Avalanche. $8,000 for a ticket for the lower bowl.
For what?
But that
Stanley Cup Finals.
How about that, man? Yeah.
Oh heck no!
Coming up. Yeah, coming up. Absolutely.
Hey, that's my salary for a year. I can't afford that.
So that rolls on. We mentioned Game 4 tonight. Back at it with the Warriors and the Celtics. Did you guys see too? Maybe we'll talk more about this in the final segment. But the viewing numbers, are way down for this series.
What?
Now, I two theories shocked. I'll throw out there. As good as Boston is, are they not like a purely entertaining team because they're so defensive minded? I wonder a little bit. I wonder if that plays into it, or are these games just? They're starting at like 9:00. Friday's a little bit different, but during the week that's tough for people on the East Coast who have to get up early. So I wonder if that plays into it at all. I don't know.
If you are a true basketball fan, I think this is an incredible series because of the contrast in styles of play that these two teams are. You have one team that's the old school, back in the early 80s, rugged team.
Yeah. And
then you have the other team that's a team full of assassins, and I love how it's gone back and forth. Each is one on each other's court. Well, technically Golden State is not one on Boston's court yet, but I just love the contrast of styles. You're right. The 9:00 starts. That's to me, that's like, I'm just catching my wind.
Oh, that's perfect for you, man.
That's me. Hey, look.
Yeah.
You're
the target audience for that, man.
I'm up 3:30 every night, bro. So that's perfect for me, But I understand for people who have to get up early in the morning, that's a little late for them. But if you love basketball, how can you not at least watch the first half of these games?
I enjoy it. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Well, hey guys, we got to go to break because I got to make sure they're not going to burn my their what do you call it?
What?
Power washing.
Yeah.
and I heard them just turn it on. I wonder if they check my oil. So I gotta run for 1 second.
All right.
Wait,
I know we're going to break.
Who's doing the power washing?
Some guys that I usually pay.
You don't do it yourself?
When I have time, when I'm not on the show with you guys.
I love doing it. I got power washing.
I like this point by Terry. What? Watching the Celtics win is like watching the Sixers lose for me.
I agree. I agree, Terry. I agree with
that.
You.
Amen.
I ain't rooting for Boston for nothing.
No,
wings.
We've been on our Boston rants all week. I'm with them.
Yeah.
I'm with them there.
I don't blame you.
All right, so let's get it. We'll let Barrett go do his thing. Barrett's gone.
He gone.
He moved
he
quick.
gone.
That was quick. That's the fastest Barrett's moved since like 1996.
Or unless you hear him say free food, then he's like O.J. Simpson in a Hertz commercial.
That's a good point. All right, so we'll step aside. We'll come back, Derek. We'll dig a little bit deeper into what's going on with the Phillies here because suddenly it's become fun. What was torturous for
Look at you.
I know. I am enjoying it, man. I am. Hey, you got when it's been as bad as it was up until now. This last week, I'm.
You're right.
Bathing in it, man.
You're right.
It's been awesome. So, Philly. So, EJ Smith from the Inquirer, Philadelphia Inquirer, is going to join us at 1:00. We'll talk Eagles with EJ. Gunnar, I'm looking forward to this too. We're going to dive into the AFC. And we're going to rank our best teams. This was a challenge.
Dude, it's so hard. It was so hard, dude.
Yeah.
I had 4 or 5 different 1 through 5s.
Yeah.
And I know some people may not agree with it, but hey, there's some teams I had in the top 5 I had to delete for various reasons.
Yep.
Dude, it was hard trying to figure out what's my best 5.
It's going to be a great conference this year. It really is. Oh, man. So we'll dig a little bit deeper. As we mentioned, we'll get the movie reviews a little bit later. We got a lot more to do. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. He is D Gunn along with Barrett Brooks. I am Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right. So it's about that time, man. We're right around 12:30. You're a little hungry. Not really sure where to go, what to order. I got the place for you. How about Station Tap Catering? They can handle your next business function with ease while you focus on securing a new opportunity for your company. Here's the thing. They have 50 years of experience in food preparation. Station Tap Catering will impress, and your guests will be impressed. I was one of them. I had their a lunch rack essentially catered to the house, but they give you everything. I mean, I got the variety. It's great if you have little kids. It's great if you have some older folks, whatever the case may be. It's the perfect mix of every kind of food that you would love and enjoy, including dessert, salads. You can eat healthy, whatever the case may be. Station Tap Catering provides the best food. They also are there for private events that you want to cater, Little League banquet. You got a communion party, whatever the case may be, they can handle it. And they also provide, as I mentioned, those individual packaged meals, takeout. You got it. Give them a call, 484-469-3222. That's 484-469-3222. Or you can just go to stationtapcatering.com. That's stationtapcatering.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again? You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh. Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Barrett, we don't know. We will find out. It's a mystery. What's going? How about he's?
What in the world is going on?
Wait,
I
what
was
happened?
here.
Oh, okay. All right. We thought
Hey,
we didn't know what happened. We thought you might have gotten kidnapped or something.
No, I was
man.
here on time. I mean,
Okay.
this just goes to show, man. That's exactly why I had to go down there, man.
What
Wow.
happened?
So
what
I
happened?
go down there and I say, "Hey, man, you guys check the oil." Oh yeah, we checked the oil. I say, just just do it for me, man.
You knew
So
they didn't check
I
it.
said, turn it off, and check the oil. Checks the oil. Oh, it was some oil in it when I tried. I said, no, it wasn't, dog. You didn't check the oil. now I'm ready to cuss, right? Now I'm ready to come like, yo, care about my stuff, man, like I care about my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Plus,
dude,
if you're paying these cats, they better be doing all that kind of
right,
stuff.
I'm like, dude, come on, man. And you'd have burnt my power washer out. That's another $600-700 I'd have to go pay. Then I gotta pay you the salary. I gotta pay you. So I'm like, dog, I'm telling you, man. Come on, man.
Get
Come
your
on
act
now.
together. Yeah, well, you gave him the warning now.
See,
Next time.
man.
See,
It's
Bear's this imposing figure, and he raises his voice. He just scares people to death, man.
It's not that, but just
No, I agree with you. I agree.
You're just not gonna tear my stuff up, bro. No.
Hey, man.
Barrett's the nicest guy in the world until you cross him, and then he's a
Yep.
Hulk.
Oh, I've seen that.
What's his name?
I've seen
Banner.
that.
What's his name? Bruce
Bruce
Banner.
Banner. Yeah,
He's
I've
Bruce
seen that.
Banner until you cross him.
Hey, Bruce Banner used to turn green. I've seen Bear turn 8 shades of black when he gets mad, man.
Oh, man.
Ooh, it ain't pretty, bro. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Bro,
I'm
you
glad
just
I
talking
haven't
about
been on
that
the
one
receiving
instant,
end.
man. You just that one instant.
One.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Maybe two.
Do yourself a favor. I don't know if you're doing yourself a favor or not, but if you ever get a minute, if you're totally bored, go on YouTube, and the old heads might remember this, but there was a TV show, The Hulk. Do you remember that with Bill Bixby? Yeah. Okay.
Oh my goodness, it was terrible.
Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno.
He was Hulk when he became Hulk.
Yeah.
So at the end of the show, they played the saddest piano music you will ever hear. Like, it was the kind of music where you're like, what is it? Oh, it was like, you're like, yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's like walking down a dirt road, like he had nowhere to go. Right. And it was sad, man. So you're really bored to do that.
Hey, B. Brooks, Kevin Savard here says that you weren't really going to check on the power washer scenario. He said must have been a White Castle truck in the area.
The theory
is they should have that. They should have a White Castle truck like
no, they shouldn't. No, they should not.
Yeah, they should, bro.
Why would you X-Lax Mobile, man? Come on, man.
Man,
it is what it is, bro.
There is a theory that you were getting lunch. I'm just saying that's been floated by some people.
No, hold on. I come prepared. Okay. I already have lunch.
Oh, okay.
What you got today?
This is a turkey sandwich, right?
Okay.
What?
With some Pringles.
Oh, look at you. All right.
Yeah, I gotta get some next commercial break. Next short commercial break. I gotta run downstairs and get something to eat because my stomach talking again, man.
You say your backbone talking to your neck bone.
Let me tell you something, man. There's a conversation going on, and it ain't pretty right now.
But we don't need your stomach growling again, okay?
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
We're good with that. Yeah, absolutely. Whoa. All right, so a couple things we got to hit here with the Phillies. So we mentioned that they won again. So they're up to 7 straight. They won 8-3 yesterday. A game that was pretty tight for a while.
And then, to like the 6th.
Yeah, till the 6th. And really, it was Eflin didn't have his A game. yesterday. And Burns wasn't on his A game really for the Brewers.
They had him to like 100 pitches by the 4th inning.
That was the thing. They really made him work early. Wow. And Phillies, so the Phillies ended up breaking through with some home run. Bryce Harper hit one that they only measured it like 450. I'm telling you, man, that thing went. It just drilled the second deck. It would have went further.
And didn't Didi hit one too? No, Didi hit that check swing.
Schwarber had one.
Yeah. Down the left field line.
Well, Didi almost had the hit for the cycle yesterday. He had a huge game. Harper was 2 for 5. He's up to 15 home runs, guys. He's got 3 home runs in his last 4 games, 5 in the 6 games they played in June. He is straight tearing it up. But yeah, I mean, it was a week ago that we were sitting here saying, all right, they fired Girardi finally. Is it realistic this team can get on a run?
Right.
And it just goes to show you how quickly things can change, man. Especially in baseball, we play this many games.
Well, you were talking about Harper. Since 2021, last year, the Phillies are 75-34 when Harper scores at least 1 run.
Oof.
And that includes 20-9 this year. So you talk about the magnitude of one player in your lineup. Whew.
That's a great stat.
Like I said, is that MVP? Does that mean MVP? I don't know.
I don't know how Barrett. I don't know how he's not in any conversation.
Exactly.
I mean, look, people are always going to say the guy who's out there doing it in the field deserves it more than him. But and I just keep getting back to it's not his choice. Like he's not in right field. Trust me, if he had his druthers, he'd be out there playing in right field. He hates DHing, but he's just doing the best he can with it. So,
he's one guy that you don't have to worry about. That's trying to get over. He wants to play. He's one of those guys that you don't have to worry about if he's giving max effort or not.
Yeah.
He's giving max effort.
Yeah, no question. And look, they're following his lead. That's what, a lot of teams, a great leader and a great player, the team follows their lead. And that's exactly what's happening here with Harper. I mean, look, he's been doing it all year. Don't get me wrong. But he's really picked his game up now. And, yesterday, I'll give some love to the bullpen. Thought the bullpen did a really good job. The much maligned bullpen did a really good job yesterday because the starter, wasn't great yesterday. But they've shown the ability now to not just let teams hang around. They're tacking on as they go, and they got some big home runs later to kind of make it comfortable.
Odubel had him one.
Yeah, Odubel did too. They're getting contributions all over the place. Didi, Odubel, Harper, Schwarber. So you're going from the top to the bottom where everybody's hitting for them, and and they just keep it rolling. Look, the Brewers were cold. They weren't quite Angels cold, but they were cold going into the series. And to the Phillies,
they suck.
Well, to the Phillies' credit, you play who's in front of you, and they're beating up on teams that are floundering right now.
Isn't it funny? The first 2 series under Thompson were 2 teams that were former first-place teams that can't hit the side of a barn right now. So the last 2 series are against teams that were in series playoff contention talk, and right now it's like that song "Slip Sliding Away."
Yeah,
both of them are slip sliding away. Now this Arizona team is going to be interesting because Arizona's at the bottom, but Arizona's like Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know which team's going to show up in a given night. They played like a contender one night. Next night they played like they're the Oakland A's.
Well, the guy who's pitching tonight, Zach Gallen, he's a South Jersey kid.
Yeah,
I think he went to Eustis. Is really good. Really good.
What's
so
his name?
Zach Gallen.
Okay.
Gallen,
he's legit. Who they're facing tonight. So this is going to be a challenge. I mean, Gibson wasn't great his last outing. So you have Gibson against Zach Allen. The other thing is too that I don't know. We're so focused on the Phillies, rightfully so, but Braves are on fire right now.
They are, man.
Braves are straight up on fire. Braves have won.
It reminds me a lot of last year, right?
Yeah, with 8 in a row.
But they didn't catch fire last year until August, September.
It was later last year when they really got hot. They're hot now. It was only a matter of time. They were too good for them, even losing Freddie Freeman, et cetera. It was only a matter of time before the Braves got it together. But the thing about it, it's going to be a tough division, man. And look, the good thing is I'm really kind of focusing on the wild card because there's even after this run, the Phillies are still 9 back of the Mets.
Yeah.
So they're it's like,
hey, but look, they were 13 just a week ago. Now they're 9.
No, that's they're making ground up on the Mets. It's just the Braves are, but so right now, for those the 3 wild card spots are the Padres, Cardinals, and Giants. Giants hold the last spot. Braves are right there with them. I mean, Braves are 31-27, Giants are 30-26, and the Phillies are 2.5 back. So they're only 2.5 back right now of a playoff spot, basically. That's the way I'm looking at this thing. With plenty of time.
They could win the division. They could.
It's not crazy.
It's not out of the realm of reality.
And and the bats are starting to warm up. It's starting to get hotter. Bats starting to warm up. What do you say is hitting season? Let's go, man. See how far we can go with this. I with the new skipper, man. I love the fact that he's just playing. He's playing it by the hip, man.
Yep.
He just pulls whenever he needs to pull out. You know what I mean? So he's playing it by the hip, and that's what I want. I mean, it's not all.
Right.
It's not all about the metrics of this pitcher did this did many times. And
he's going by his gut.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think it's better at this point that he's doing it that way as opposed to, with all this analytics is going on.
I also think what we're seeing too is they were just, and that part of this is just you're losing, you're going to be naturally tighter, but they were playing really tight under Girardi. Like there was just a tightness that is gone now. They're a much loose. Yeah, the younger infusion. Harper, I don't think Harper's doing it in any way, shape, or form to bury Girardi, because I don't think that's his style. But when he's talking about things, he always mentions the younger guys getting playing time, being one of the things. And everybody in the clubhouse is talking about how loose things are now. Like Schwarber was the other day. All these guys. It's again, I don't think they're trying to out the door kick Girardi, but I think they're also saying like we feel a lot better about the way things are right now that this guy's gone.
Well, when you're winning, everything is looser.
It's true.
So even if Thompson had taken over and they kept their losing ways going, I don't think they would be as loose as they are. But it's amazing how as soon as he takes over, all of a sudden the light switch goes on. They're hitting bombs left and right. Was it 16 home runs in the 6 games under him now?
Yeah.
It's 16 in 6 games.
18, Derek, during the winning streak. They have 18.
That's crazy.
And they've outscored their opponents 53-19.
That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable,
I mean, they're bludgeoning teams.
And the bullpen is holding up its end of the deal over the last week.
Well, it's not as much pressure. That's what it is. It's not as much pressure. They're not worried about making mistakes. But sometimes that means a lot. When you're not worried about making mistakes, like the young guys are like, oh, man, if I mess up, I know he's going to send me back down. Send me back down. Well, now they're playing more loose. Like, all right, what do I have to lose? You know what I'm saying? What do I have to lose?
Let me ask you, your career, when you play for a lot of different coaches, who kept it the lightest? Like what group was the loosest that where you just, there wasn't a lot of guys overthinking, just kind of having fun and going out and play? Was Ray like that? Ray Rhodes, or what was it? Was
Ray? Yeah. Ray was like, you wasn't worried about, not performing. You worried about not performing, but you didn't have to worry about, being all uptight and everything because he was like loose.
Okay.
So he's probably the loosest, head coach I played for, as far as him not bothering you. He let his position coaches coach. Now I played with Callahan, who was at the time he was a prick because he couldn't yell it. I was a rookie.
Where did you have him? Oh, he was your line coach.
He was my offensive line coach. Callahan was a line coach. Him and Juan Castillo. So he couldn't yell at Guy McIntyre, Riley McKenzie. He couldn't yell at guys like that, Steve Wallace. So in turn, he would yell at the younger guys. And I was the only younger guy that was starting. So I'd be sitting in a meeting where we're watching the meeting, and it'd be a call the center should have made. Riley McKenzie should have made the call. And he starts yelling at me for what Riley McKenzie. I said, I didn't play center. Well, this is what you have to do. So he's yelling at me because he can't yell at Riley McKenzie. Or Guy Mack didn't pull when he was supposed to pull. Well, I mean, you got to pull on this, Barrett. Barrett, you got to. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm blocking the end. That's all I do is block the end.
Right.
Period.
Wow.
So it's different because you got certain coaches that feel more empowered to yell at younger guys and have that fierce grasp of, all right, you better not mess up or you're gone or you're gonna be down there. But then I had a guy like Russ Grimm, my offensive line coach when I was with the Steelers. He didn't care what you did, hook or crook. As long as you got it done, you got it done.
He wasn't worried about technique or what.
You could be blocking a guy backwards. You could be boxing him out like you're boxing out a basketball player. As long as he didn't get to that quarterback, he did not care. Just get the job done. But then I had a guy named Mouse McNally. Mouse McNally, you could take a guy, drive him 10 yards down the field, and put him on his head. Mouse, he's the one that coached Anthony Munoz and made him the player he was. He's the duck walk guy. Everybody wants a duck walk and all that type of stuff.
Right.
You could take a guy literally 10 yards down the field and dump him on his head, and it'd be a minus because you didn't use your duck work technique.
Right. You know, not to get this steer off track, but Randall, the Handle Sports Talk, has been asking me this question throughout the show. Yes, Randall, this is a Bucks championship T-shirt, 2021. It took 50 years.
That's horrible.
Took 50 years for the Bucks to win another championship. May not see another one in 50 years. So yes, Randall, to answer your question, it is a Bucks championship T-shirt. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Any more questions?
Randall, Monday he'll be wearing his Packers gear, and then
I got a closet full.
Notice he's not wearing his Brewers stuff after the Phillies just spanked his Brewers. That isn't happening.
No.
And your hockey? Oh yeah, you don't have a hockey team.
Well, we had the Milwaukee Admirals. Yeah, the AHL team. You know, we can't have everything, man. It's Milwaukee, man. We don't care about hockey. We care about the big three: basketball, football, baseball,
and Wisconsin sports at the University.
Absolutely,
of Madison.
Wisconsin Badgers. Yeah, Badgers. Absolutely. Yeah.
I always like the Badgers. I always like the way they did things.
Wisconsin, man. I'll tell you what, man. They put out some of the best linemen.
Offensive linemen. Oh, good Lord. Two things you'll get out of Wisconsin: running backs and linemen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
My boy, Big Gibby. Aaron Gibson was the biggest
my goodness.
NFL
That was a
player
big
ever.
dude.
He made you look small.
Right. Gibby
my goodness.
Gibby was 6'8", same height as Jordan Mailata.
Yes.
He
like
was
380.
He's about 4'10".
Jeez.
And had abs.
That's insane. And what did he run, Barrett? What was he like? He was like a crazy 40 time too.
Yeah, like 5 flat.
Jeez.
6'8", 410 pounds running 5 flat.
Yes.
See, that's like an
18-wheeler. Could do the splits.
Oh, see, that's like an 18-wheeler hitting you and then backing up to finish the job.
Right.
But that's like what Jordan Davis ran like a 4.7, didn't he? Something crazy.
4.7 at 340.
Yeah, I mean,
and you want to know why? And people want to know why they've changed the structure of the game so much in the NFL in terms of trying to reduce head trauma injuries and other. When you have the bodies are getting bigger, faster, stronger every year, but the field stays the same size. The collisions are more violent every year, and the injuries are more devastating, man. I mean, you be sipping soup out of a straw, man. Dude, I'm telling you, man, and I've had the opportunity to stand next to people like Barrett Brooks and all these guys, Hugh Douglas. We were teasing Hugh yesterday about being a short guy. Hugh is like 6'2", 6'3", but has arms the size of a truck tire and still works out.
Hugh's forearms are gigantic, and his legs are gigantic. Yeah,
dude. And then
his
you see
quads,
a guy like
his calves. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Corey Simon, even Trotter. Trotter's been out again. Trotter's still a big man.
Yeah, he is.
And when you got 22 guys colliding like this at the snap of a ball, there's no wonder you have so many injuries in the game like you do nowadays,
well,
man.
The other part I wonder about too is with that same size that we're referring to, this is why your joints can't hold up. This is why we see the non-contact, ACLs. Not that we didn't have them back in the day. We did. But, you're asking gigantic bodies to run at an insane rate with a lot of muscle and mass on them. They're going to give. Something's got to give somewhere along the line. That's what I wonder about. That's why we have so many more injuries in baseball with pitchers. Nolan Ryan could pitch, 10 straight complete games, throw 250 pitches. But these guys now throw, Nolan Ryan threw hard. Don't get me wrong. He had perfect technique, but
yes, he did.
They're throwing hard, even off speed. Like watch Zach Wheeler pitch and even look at some of his off speed stuff and just the speed on it. I don't know how arms hold up. I think that's really, when you're almost better off when they didn't throw as hard in terms of being able to stay healthy. But that's the thing. I mean, it's bigger, stronger, but like something somewhere gives.
Well, you know what? It has a lot also to do how athletes are more specialized these days.
Yeah.
Like they stopped playing 4 sports probably within the last, 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And, once kids hit a certain point where, all right, you're good at baseball, but you're only average at football, average at soccer, you're not going to play them sports anymore. You're just going to, focus right in on baseball.
Yeah, I think
that kind of sucks, man, because
You're right. To your point. And they also play travel ball, which means they're playing almost all year round.
Exactly.
And I can't stand it. Like my kids played all the sports growing up, and I just think it's better for you. It's better for your muscles. I think it's better for you meet more kids that way. Socially, it's better for you.
Exactly. And plus, you don't wear out those same muscles, because the muscle you use in baseball are not the same muscle you use in basketball, not the same muscle you use in track, it's the same muscle you use in baseball, football. All those are different. It's a different group of muscles. When you just play the one sport, you use those same muscles over and over again. That's why these kids are getting Tommy John surgery. Because they don't allow the other muscles to work.
Yeah, and I think the other part, you're in real danger of burning kids out if they're always doing
so many kids nowadays quit sports in high school because mommy has forced little Johnny and Susie to play on all these travel teams and by the time they get to high school, they're burned out. They don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I see it a lot, man. I've seen it a lot, and it's a shame because if they had just let them take 3 months off from the sport.
Yes.
And they can just regroup mentally too. But no, let's go. We gotta get. And you know what the coaches, what happens a lot of times in high school, they'll say to you, "Oh, we encourage them to play multiple sports." And then once they get in there, they're like, "Well, you're not going to be at the Thursday off-season practice." No, I'm not, coach. I'm going to be. I'm playing basketball.
Right.
Well, we'd really like you to be there. And then you're like, the kid goes into a panic. So a lot of these coaches are full of it when they tell you that. Some are legit, but a lot of them are full of BS.
I think a travesty too is a lot of times coaches get buddy with certain parents.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden their kid is playing not because they're better than the other kid who should be playing, but because they're friends with the coach.
No doubt.
And I think that's an injustice as well because it kills the spirit of the kid.
Yep.
Who's really trying. And the kid, let's face it, in most cases, can sit there and watch and say, there's no way this kid is better than me, yet they're playing, and I'm sitting here, waiting to go in as a sub if I'm lucky. Yeah. So that also, discourages them to continue playing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Bro, I've seen it happen before, man. I've seen kids that remember last year. I don't know if you guys went, but I was helping coach. I was helping coach a team in Camden.
Right.
Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
So coaching Woodrow. I'm helping Woodrow Wilson. I'm coaching the offensive line. And I coached them, the entire season. And I can remember a parent came up, was like, hey, I want my son to play. He needs to be playing. He's that good. Every time I come home, he's telling me how good he is. I said, okay. I said, look, sir, I'm not gonna do that to you. No, I'm not gonna play him now. And he's like, well, my son's ready to play. I said, you sure your son is ready to play? Yeah, he's ready to play. I said, all right, This is not done out of spite, sir. I want you to understand this is not done out of spite. But hey, little Johnny, come here for a minute, Johnny. Hey, go in at Mike linebacker. You want to play linebacker, right? Oh, yeah. Mike linebacker? Yeah, he's a middle linebacker. Yes, that's what he is. So okay then. All right. Hey, Fred. This is our second team fullback. The second team. No, he's the third team guy. Say, Fred, come here, man. Hey, I want you guys to run ISO. Hey, Johnny, this is ISO. He's running the ball right at you. You got to get the fullback. You got to knock the fullback out the play and go get the running back. Yeah, I got it. Man, Sid Hunt. Fred runs straight through little Johnny. I mean, he didn't even break stride. Almost broke his head. He hit the ground so hard. I said, see? Oh, he did it. I said, all right, I'm going to run another play now. We run a pass play. He goes out there, tight end, boom, boom, boom. Almost bust his knee up, fell all on the ground, hurt himself. I said, look, this is why I'm keeping your son out of. He's not ready to play right now. He's not ready to play. When is he going to be able to play? He's a senior. I said, sir, he's not ready to play. I'm letting you know. That was our third team fullback. That was our second team tight end. What do you want me to do? I don't want to get your son hurt.
Yeah.
Now he's feeling this big because all the parents just saw his son get ran over.
Get freight trained.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So Johnny's just not ready to play, man.
Well, you know who is ready to play? EJ Smith. And when we come back, talk to EJ about the OTAs, where things are for the Birds in general. There's a lot of things to hit with EJ. We will do so when we get back. D Gunn, B Brooks, R Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right. Finances, man. You got to get your finances right. And if you're not sure who to turn to, how to invest, what to do, what you want to do, where you want to put your money, I got the person for you. And that's Jim Murray with Principal Financial Group. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, or you have a small business and you need help setting up your employee benefits, that's another resource that Jim can help you with. I wasn't sure what to do. I reached out to Jim. He steered me in the right direction, and he continues to. That was years ago. I trusted him with my IRA, my 401k rollover, and I couldn't be any happier. You can give him a call as well and be happy. 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751, or you can email him at Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
All right, did you know I was the mommy slam dunk champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left, fake a mom. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again? You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh. Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Welcome back in Sports Take on this Friday. Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. We're joined by EJ Smith now. EJ covers the Birds for the Philadelphia Flyers. There he is.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
EJ,
I want to apologize. I want to apologize that you have to spend a good quality portion of your day dealing with the Three Stooges like us, but such is the case.
Speak for yourself, all right?
For the next half hour. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Follow EJ on Twitter at EJSmith94. Man, how times have changed since we last spoke. I guess it was draft night, I think.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You were out in Vegas. I want to start with this because I know you tweeted this out probably this morning, whatever time it was, about 3 hours ago. How are the Rams doing it, man? How does this continue? I mean, it seems like every other day they're locking somebody up for some insane number. And I know everybody says, oh, the bill's going to come due soon. Like, who cares if you win 2 or 3 in the process? Who cares if the bill comes due?
Yeah, never lie.
So like shameless plug here, like I do a Q&A with Joe Banner all the time. And when he starts talking about the salary cap, my head starts going in circles, you know, like I just don't understand. Yeah. But my very rudimentary understanding of how the salary cap works is like, because people will tell you like the salary cap's not even real, you know, like these guys can do whatever they want. If you've got like a mega rich owner like that, especially in a good market like that, you know, if he's willing to pay out huge guarantees up front, it really lowers like the cap hit year over year. So yeah, I mean he paid out like $400 million for players this year.
Jeez. Seven players, like 386 million.
386. It's unbelievable. But I mean, like I said, so eventually they'll be paying for these guys, you know, 5-6 years down the road. But I mean, the cap goes up every year, and you can keep doing this forever, you know. So so like I said, having a super rich, like a mega rich owner in a good market, like that's the biggest advantage in all sports.
Crazy.
It's crazy, right?
It really is. It really is,
but,
man.
You know, so I mean, you could virtually buy Super Bowl, you know, from this point forward, you know, just by looking at, I mean, what you call it, rudimentary metrics, you know what I'm saying? Just because you got big, you know, a big pocketbook, you can do that, you know?
I mean, I feel like you have to have the right market, you know, because all those guys want to go play in LA, especially now that they're championship contenders. So it really is kind of like, it's kind of like my generation's version, like the Showtime Lakers, it almost feels like, right? Like, you know, all these guys want to go to LA and they can pay them out. So it works out.
Well, look, a lot. Go ahead, Gunnar. Yeah.
It's funny because the Patriots wrote the book on how to bring in veteran players whenever they wanted. And they did it for a span of like 15 years. And it was quite shocking that nobody could really duplicate what they did over a span of 15 years. And then here we are today, we're talking about a Rams team that's finding more money than anybody knows what to do with in that regard. And you would think, well, you know, the NFL is a copycat league, but you don't see a lot of teams doing it. There are more teams that are worried about staying within the structure of a salary cap than they are picking off players left and right to try to win it now.
I guess it's because there's not that many owners who want to write that check.
Whoa, man.
Could you imagine?
It's true. It's true. Well, look, EJ, I mentioned it's crazy over the last, April 28th was the draft, and we sit here on June 10th, and you kind of step back a little bit, and you look at everything that went down. I guess I'll just ask you this. Which of the moves, and if you want to include the draft, that's fine. Which one was the one that made you kind of, you know, sit back and take notice a little bit, I guess, that the Eagles did?
Well, I feel like you have to pick the A.J. Brown one just because the magnitude of the player, you know, just what he does for the offense. And I feel like he's a perfect fit with Jalen Hurts. You know, like Devontae Smith is like a precision timing type receiver. He may or may not benefit from having a guy like Jalen Hurts all the time. You know, like if I feel like somebody who's more, you know, a quarterback more driven on like timing and anticipation would really, really sort of bring out Devontae Smith's skill set. I feel like with A.J. Brown, that guy's going to be open. You can throw him 50-50 balls and everything else. So what he does for the offense really kind of got my attention. But I feel like the James Bradbury piece of it all was the one that kind of solidified it for me because now because even when they got A.J. Brown, even when they got Jordan Davis, and even when they got Nakobe Dean in the third round, you could still say, well, they got a couple question marks in that secondary. You know, they're going to need Marcus Epps and Zach McPherson and whoever else could, you know, maybe represent themselves well in training camp to step up. But now, I mean, at least at cornerback, you've got two very, very proven starters in Bradbury and Darius Slay. So, I mean, obviously they still got Marcus Epps back there, but I just feel like that Bradbury signing was kind of the moment where I was like, they could make some noise this year. You know, just like it's not often you look at a defense that's had so many problems addressed. And they really don't have a lot of weak spots anywhere except for, I guess you could say, safety. You know, I mean, depending on what you think of Miles Sanders at running back, but they really are. They're kind of they kind of have it all across the board at this point.
So we know that you don't get to see a whole lot when it comes to the OTAs and the mini camp, but what has been your biggest observation of what you've seen up to this point?
So we don't get to see a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I definitely think, you know, offensively, the first session we got to see Devontae Smith was just like tearing it up. And I honestly do, like, I wrote about this, you know, like there's a sense that like he's going to be wide receiver 2 behind A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. I mean, he is really, really, he looks good. And like, you know, it usually takes wideouts a couple of years, you know, some time to figure it out. He was better than most rookie wideouts are typically. So yeah, he had a couple of good routes. He had I think it was a seam route against Darius Slay, and then he went over and beat Bradbury on a go route. So so he definitely he looked good the first day. I think, you probably heard about Jalen Hurts. You can tell he's changed his mechanics. Definitely seems like his base is a little bit tighter. And I would say the thing that I always kind of go back to whenever I watch quarterbacks changing their mechanics in OTAs, it's like it's easy to do that when there's not a rush. We'll see what it looks like, but you can kind of tell that he's made some changes. It doesn't always look perfect. There are a couple of times where it's like, oh man, he kind of looked like he sort of started that one a little lower than usual, or it was funny. I think he hit a go ball to either Pascal. I think it was Zach Pascal. It might have been Deion Kane the other day, and it was funny because it was a kind of a duck, but it made it there. It was a touchdown pass. So you can tell he's working through his mechanics a little bit. I think it's improved off of last year, and obviously the coaching staff has raved about what he's done. So so those are my biggest takeaways for the most part.
Did you see that pass he threw from the sideline? He hit Greg Ward on the sideline when he threw across his body.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's where it is. If you can make a pass like that across your body and get there on the dime, that's where I say his maturity level has gotten a lot better.
And that's something he wasn't comfortable doing last year. Whenever he would roll out to his throwing side, he really couldn't rotate and open up and throw it. See, I played quarterback my freshman year of high school, so
there you go.
I know a little bit about this now. And then you have to ask my dad. He said I ate my way out of the position. I got moved to left tackle.
Dad, very supportive of dad to say that kind of thing. Yeah,
but no, that the throws on his throwing side, he wasn't comfortable doing that last year. And you're absolutely right. It's kind of taking the next steps. I mean, my biggest thing with Jalen Hurts is like the areas in which he needs to improve. Decision making, just kind of seeing it and getting the ball out on time. Those are things that every quarterback gets better at over time. So I think there is reason for optimism there.
EJ, let me ask you based off of that. And I know, it is what it is in these OTAs. It's not the intensity and the live bullets flying around and all that kind of stuff, if you will. But everybody to a man, it seems like, and not just the usual, like, hey, we're really behind, Jalen. It feels genuine when I hear guys like Goddard and some of the other people saying, like, I'm telling you, like, this guy's taking big steps. Are you buying this? Like, that the teammates himself, his teammates really feel like this is going to be a big leap kind of year for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell sometimes because, like, these guys are always going to tell you that everybody looks great and they're in the best shape of their lives. But, I mean, they certainly do. Jalen's, ever since he got drafted, even when there was, like, the drama with Carson, you could tell that guys naturally gravitated toward him. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever questioned his work ethic. Yeah. So I think that's what I think that's where it comes from. I think guys see the work he puts in. They see the strides that he makes. So I think it is genuine. But again, like I said, I mean, maybe it's the reporter in me. I'm always kind of like, skeptical. Are you really telling me the truth here? But no, I definitely think that, again, like the work he puts in, I think that it kind of lends people to believing in him.
Interesting.
Well, when you look at him, okay, you see all the players. How comfortable are you with Steichen and his ability to open the offense up from just being a run-dominated offense that he had last year when he picked things up as the play caller? How confident are you, of him opening up this passing game? Because I know we can't do what we did the first 8 games.
Yeah,
we're not gonna be able to.
That's what I would say. It's like, Nick talks about how he kind of was spreading himself too thin. And, there are some head coaches in the league that can call plays and also manage the team. But I think for him, he found that he wasn't able to do it. And like the biggest, when I think about the first 8 weeks of the season, first 8 odd weeks, give or take, I think about, like constant screen passes, just like a lot of underneath stuff. And yeah, like I do think that the fact that the offense changed the way that it does is a kind of, a good sign for Steichen, sort of maybe be seeing the big picture and, kind of being able to like hone more in on just play calling instead of having to manage everything else. I do think that the play calling is a little bit overblown because it's still Nick's offense. And these guys map out, they've got their first 15, they've got their 2-minute. I feel like Nick's influence maybe is a little underplayed when you think about it, because I feel like it's still Nick's offense. It's still, him kind of, they do so much during the week preparation wise. I think that really the benefit with having Steichen call plays is that he has a better in-game feel for it than Nick does, because Nick's got so many other things going on. But I don't think that it's Steichen's, offense all of a sudden. That's for sure.
EJ, we would continue to do this until the bullets start flying for real. but it's amazing how much we go back and forth with what Jalen Hurts is or is not, because we can't get a grasp on it based on what we saw of him last year. Secondhand word of mouth that he's been working diligently with the quarterback gurus out on the West Coast and in controlled environments in many camps and OTAs. And I hate to say this because it's a team game, but I think in this case, the Eagles' season make or break relies on how much this kid has improved.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, like since the last time I talked to you, look at the pieces that they've added on offense.
Yeah.
There's no excuses left, you know, and I think that's how they want it to be. And I think on the flip side, it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. It's like, you know, or I guess it works two different ways. You know, it's like Jalen Hurts has no excuses this year. If he's got everything around, he's got a great offensive line. He's got two great wide receivers. He's got one of the better tight ends in the league. You know, he's got it all set up for him. And if it doesn't work for him this year, then when you've got Russell Wilson and, you know, I don't think they were worried on Matt Ryan. I don't know what the interest was in Deshaun Watson at the end of the day. But when you've got veteran quarterbacks who are looking for different destinations, unlike last year where the Eagles weren't a target for one of those guys, this year, this upcoming offseason, I think any quarterback would look at that offense and go, I'd love to play in that system. So I think they've set themselves up well, at least offensively, kind of to either figure out if Jalen Hurts is the answer. And like I always tell people this, it's like this is the Eagles we're talking about. If he shows that, okay, he may never be a top 5 guy, but he's 15 to 8, maybe middle of the pack. I don't think the Eagles are going to settle for that. You know, they watch those games with the Bills and the Chiefs just like the rest of us do, and they look at those guys and they go, that's what we need. We need a guy who's going to beat those guys, you know, to beat the likes of Mahomes and, you know, Josh Allen and Brady and all those guys. So, I mean, I think it's a huge year for him, and I agree with you. I think they're going to go as far as he's capable of taking.
Yeah.
EJ, what's your sense of Sirianni? I mean, we go into the second year now, and a lot of the things you just laid out and we're talking about here, it's a much better roster. You know, to his credit, he got them to the playoffs last year, and that it was not an easy task. I give him a lot of props for that, but this is a much better team now in terms of talent. So how do we view him in his second year? And if this, you know, what this looks like maybe at the end of the season?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a similar vibe. Yeah. I was about to say, like, this is actually something I'm not trying to give away my stories here, but this is something I'm working on as a training camp preview.
See, you and I, man, we're in the same one.
Like they're kind of both on this kind of like you had a decent first year, but everything's there for you to take the next step. And I think I have a little bit more confidence that Nick is kind of, you know, in control here and is going to be able to do some things with this. I think, like, you know, his inexperience just in general, you know, never been a head coach at any level, had really only been a coordinator for a couple of years. I think that, you know, it kind of showed at the beginning of the first season. Like, you know, all those screen passes like really left a bad taste in my mouth. It's like it's like kind of like, you know, this it almost felt like he was so just stuck with the rules. Like, okay, if there are this many players in the box, we have to throw the screen. And it's just like, you got the best offensive line of football, just run it. And I think that he learned that over the course of the season. So I don't know. I think that there were a lot of encouraging signs from Nick last year. I guess that's why I kind of go into this year thinking that he's going to be able to figure it out. But no, I agree with you. It's kind of like the same exact thing with Jalen, where it's like you kind of do need to see them take the next step since the team has gotten a lot better.
Well, since we're going with coaches, man, let's go with Gannon. They've given him what he needs to run this multi-purpose, multifaceted defense. You know, I see them. They're going to run a lot of 50 front. You could tell just by,
Absolutely.
50 and 30 front, just by, personnel they have, and also how they break practice up, with the defensive ends and linebackers that are rush ins go to one side, and then the interior guys go to another side. Those guys are like two different groups now. It used to be just defensive ends and defensive tackles in one group and the linebackers in another group. But these guys are actually practicing together.
Yeah,
he has to be lost now.
No, it's interesting because like the last time we talked, I think it was before the first round, wasn't it? Or was it after?
Yeah, it was that Thursday morning. Yeah,
it was funny because when I started my draft prep all the way back in like November, I started talking to people and I go, the Eagles aren't going to be in on Jordan Davis, are they? I mean, he's a nose tackle. They've been a 4-3 front for as long as I can remember, other than the Chip Kelly years. But yeah, I mean, like they don't need they wouldn't draft a nose tackle. And then as I started watching Jordan Davis more, it's like, okay, A, he's more than a nose tackle. Mm-hmm. Like he could play 3 tech because of the way that he moves, and B, they do. I mean, they played a lot of 50s. You know, they played a lot of 30 and 50 last year. You know, they had a lot of odd man fronts, and I think, you know, not to sound like a broken record, but last year I feel like with Gannon, I was hard on Gannon last year. You know, I was critical.
I was hard on him yesterday.
Right, exactly. So there you go. I mean, I thought his first season, you know, I thought he didn't get it the most out of the personnel that he had. And I guess he could come back and say, I didn't have the personnel that I needed to run what I run. This year, there's none of that. I mean, Jordan Davis is the type of guy that can help you operate with those light boxes and those two high safeties that he likes to run with. You know, Hassan Reddick in place of Jannard Avery. Like, you know, Jannard Avery's a fine player, but that's a huge upgrade. I mean, just to put a guy in there who, A, is a dynamic pass rusher who's ascending in his career, and B, like, he's not, you know, obviously he was kind of labeled a bust when he was dropping back in coverage a lot, but he's capable of doing it in a pinch. So I think the versatility that's on this defense now, I think that this is really the year where if Gannon doesn't make significant strides, it's going to show kind of what a lot of people suggested last year. I think there's a chance at the end of the year that we could be looking at year one and going, man, we were completely off on him. He just needed a year to get, you know, the right personnel in here. Or there's a chance that we were looking at it and we're like, even when he got all his guys, he still couldn't figure it out. So I definitely think this is a big year for him.
Okay, so EJ, when you look at all of the players they have on defense now, whether it's a carryover from last year or a new player they've brought in, whether it's by draft or free agency, going forward, what's the one player between now and the time the season drops that you're going to be watching closely to see how they fit in and how they're utilized on that defense?
Well, the obvious ones would be Jordan Davis or Hassan Reddick, but I'll give you one that's a little bit more, I guess, under the radar. I'm excited to see what they do with Milton Williams. I feel like he's kind of like a forgotten guy in this defensive front. He looked really good all throughout last year. You know, obviously toward the end of the year, he sort of took strides, but even in the preseason, I remember there were a couple plays where I was like, oh man, this guy might be legit. So he's kind of buried right now at defensive tackle, but I'm curious if he can play some, you know, 3-4 defensive end. You know, he's kind of got that tweener body, and I think he's athletic enough to do it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Head up on a tackle.
Right. Yep. That 5 tech. Yeah. I feel like I feel like he can do that a lot. And they need those guys because, you know, like they got Brandon Graham back. He can do some of that. You know, Fletch can do some of that now that they got Jordan Davis. But, you know, that 4-eye, you know, 5 tech position last year. Yeah. That was what they really didn't have. You know, like they had, you know, Josh Schwed and Ryan Kerrigan playing that spot. And those guys they're just not their position. So I'm excited to see what Milton Williams does this year. I really am. I feel like he can be forgotten, but I wouldn't surprise me if he kind of made a name for himself this year.
EJ, any surprise really? I don't mean under the radar Milton Williams. I mean like way under the radar. Devin Allen kind of, you know, like this guy might have something. Is there anybody like that you sense that could jump out?
So everybody's been really excited about Britton Covey at camp. I'll be honest with you. I saw him get the ball muscled out of his hands a couple too many times for my liking.
Yes.
But listen, I haven't been out there the entire time, and I don't pretend to know more football than some of these guys. Dallas Goedert says that he's like, you know, the under the radar guy to watch. So I'll give you Britton Covey. I think Deion Kane has looked really good throughout camp. I mean, OTAs. I'm excited to see what he looks like during training camp because he has looked really good. So I guess if the generic answer, like the Eagles answer, would be Britton Covey, but I'll give you Deion Kane, the other wide receiver.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, what about the left? I mean, the right guard position. You know, how's that looking for you when you did get a chance?
So Sayamalo is the first up. I really do kind of feel like it's his job to lose. You know, there was some talk about like, would he be June 1st cut? And that kind of that surprised me just in the sense that like, I like Jack Driscoll at guard, but I also, he's been hurt almost every year and I honestly sort of thought he was more comfortable at tackle. I know he's got shorter arms and that's why they need to move him to guard, but I don't know. He held up at tackle his first game was against Chase Young and he held up there. So, and just the sense that like Jack Driscoll's not guaranteed to give you 17 games. Cam Jurgens is not really a guard in my opinion. I mean, he's really undersized for that position. So I didn't think that they had enough depth there, especially after they released Nate Herbig earlier. But yeah, I see it. I honestly think that if I were them, I would be looking at it like Sayamalo is my first guy. I got Jack Driscoll in the case that Sayamalo gets hurt like he has been the last couple of years. And if Driscoll gets hurt, we're back to what we've been doing the last couple of years. So that's how I would look at it. I honestly I was a little lower on Sayamalo, but then I remember Jason Kelsey last season said something like, people don't realize how dynamic he is, how good he is, and how important he is to this front. And I take Jason Kelsey at his word there. I feel like they make it sound like it's a competition, but I certainly think it's Sayamalo's job to lose.
You touched on Miles Sanders. Where do things stand there? Is this going to be played out? Maybe get through the season. If he starts off well, they extend him. Do you not see an extension? Just play it out. What do you think happens there with him?
I honestly would guess that they let him play it out at this point. I mean, it's kind of like the process that a lot of smart teams in the league kind of go through with these early round running backs. Like if you pick a guy first, second, third round, you just let him play out his first contract, and then you don't sign running backs the second contract. That's what you hear from a lot of people is, good teams will draft running backs early, but they won't sign them to that second deal. They'll use them up and kind of let them go. So, I mean, I could also see, like, I don't know what Miles Sanders' market looks like. I really don't know. And it could be, I don't think it would get as bad as like a Derek Barnett was this offseason, but if he sits out there for a couple of weeks and doesn't get a huge deal, I could see them extending him for a lower price, but I don't think there's a rush to do it. I definitely think that their approach with running backs is kind of to let it all play out and then sort of figure it out down the road. So
I hate to do this to you because so many people do it to me, so I like to do it to other people. when you look at
what is that? What is that? How do you?
Because I hate doing it.
Enjoy this question.
Because it is a legit question. So as we look at this team on paper, is this a double-digit win team based on that and their schedule?
If they don't win this, now I'm not a hot take guy.
See, that's why I said it. See,
but if I honestly think the way their schedule sets up, like, how do they not win? If they don't win 10 games, I think that it's an indictment on somebody. Yeah. Like, you can't roll the ball back next year if they don't win 10 games this year. So I would say the expectation, I picked them to win, I think it was 11. You could see them, honestly, there's ways you could see them winning 12 or 13, and there's ways you could see them squeaking out 9 or 10 if they struggle. But yeah, I think that, anything less than 10 will start to make you have some questions about some of the big pillars in the organization for sure.
Also,
see, you guys thought I was not going to answer a legit question. See what I mean? You guys underestimate me. See?
I roamed over to the pessimistic side and deal with you.
Yeah, okay, fine. Keep doing it. Fine.
My apologies. But we all know Howie does Howie things, and I think there's just one more position that they believe, they think they're good at it. That they don't need to go out and get anybody. Marcus Epps is the guy. But, you got to think that Howie's going to try to fill that, that with a veteran guy also. Not saying Mark. I mean, I like Epps. Epps is to me, Marcus Epps is a really good safety. I think that he'll grow. I think he might be better than Anthony Harris this year.
Yeah, honestly, Harris struggled a little bit last year.
Right. So, I mean, do you think they try to fill that position?
So everybody talks about Chuck Clark from the Ravens because, they drafted Kyle Hamilton. They signed Marcus Williams. They kind of have two good players at those spots.
About that, yeah.
And Chuck Clark is just kind of one of those guys. Like, I'll be honest with you, I haven't been crunching Chuck Clark film just yet. But if he gets released, I'll take a look at it. From my sense of it, from the games I have just kind of watched, just being a fan of football and watching games, is that he's kind of like, just a league average starter. Probably not quite as good as like a James Bradbury, but like kind of in that same realm. I could see him being somebody if the Ravens do end up releasing him. But I honestly do think that like we're getting to a point now where it is what it is at that position. And yeah, I agree with you. Like, I honestly think that like Marcus Epps and like, let's throw out Kyle Hamilton as the example. I feel like you'd be better off with that. Like, you'd be pretty comfortable with that. I feel like because Harris struggled a little bit last year at times, and he was hurt for, the back half of the season, but Harris and Epps, it's kind of like you need one of those guys to be able to elevate the other one.
Right.
And I don't really know if either of them do it. So, but I also do think that, safeties are more important in this scheme than they were in Schwartz's, but they're not crucial. Like, they're not premium positions in the way that Gannon uses them, is my understanding of it. Is that like, paying big money to a safety in Gannon's scheme isn't necessarily the best resource allocation. So
EJ, last one from me. There has been massive front office turnover here. I mean, a lot of people coming and going and, restructuring, guys being elevated, et cetera. Andy Weidel being the, headliner, I guess, of all of it. what do you make of it? I mean, it seems to be a big number compared to most organizations. Some of this is guys earning the right to go other places and have bigger roles, and women as well. But what do you make of everything that's happening here?
Yeah, I think that part of the reason they lost so many people is because they hire young, diverse, and ascending people. And emphasis on diverse because, and as the league starts to address like the diversity issues across the league, not every team is like the Eagles. If you look at, Brandon Brown, Ian Cunningham, Catherine Rach, I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but there were a lot of those people are, either people of color or women, obviously. So when you look at the people that they've lost, it's kind of like they're helping diversify the rest of the league. So that's part of it. Part of it's that they like to hire young ascending people. And then I think part of it was the structure of their front office. It's not a coincidence that they hired 2 assistant GMs this time around because they keep losing people to that title. But I do think that the other part of it is just Howie's stature in the building is always going to make it. So like, when Joe Douglas was here, I wasn't on the beat, but, just from what I've, again, my understanding of it would be that Joe Douglas had a pretty, had a weighted opinion, had a lot of say in the room. I think with Andy, my colleague, Jeff McClain has reported Andy's say was, obviously heavily considered, but maybe not as much. And I think the perception across the league is like, you can only get but so high as a personnel guy in that front office. And now you look at the top 3, the 2 assistant GMs and Howie, they're all kind of from that football operations background. Obviously, Howie's got some scouting background to him as well, but John Ferrari and Alec Hallaby are, they're football ops people, and Hallaby's obviously the analytics kind of guru on the staff. So I think the biggest thing that kind of surprised me about it, and the thing that I'm still trying to like fully understand is like the framework on the personnel side is kind of nebulous now. There's like 3 or 4 people who are kind of like hovering around that director of player personnel title instead of one clear person kind of setting the table. So, I think it puts more accountability on Howie Roseman, which is a good and a bad thing. It's more responsibility and it puts more at his feet. So, what they've done with the personnel side is interesting. I'm curious to see how it looks in 2 or 3 years. Are they eventually going to get back to the framework they used to have? Are they going to bring one of these guys and, promote them up? But yeah, it definitely has been an interesting year for the front office. And I think, the biggest takeaway is that like, it's more onus on Howie and it's a move toward more of like a non-traditional way of looking at team building with football ops people, analytics people, instead of, old school football guys, as you would say.
Well, I didn't look at it like that. You're right. It is a very diverse group of people he's let out into football.
Yeah,
very
and
diverse.
and I think that the Eagles would complain because it's like, Brandon Brown and Ian Cunningham, if either of them had gotten GM jobs, they would have gotten that pair of 3rd-round picks through like the Rooney Rule extension. That doesn't extend to assistant GM, but in a couple of years, probably like 3, 4, 5 years, if those guys do well, like they're going to have a bunch of hockey assists, as you would think of it. Like guys got assistant GM jobs and then they got GM jobs, and like the Eagles don't really have anything to show for it. So
interesting. EJ, great stuff, man.
Thank you, man.
Check you out on
I appreciate having me.
Yeah, at EJSmith94, and of course Inquirer.com. You can see all of his work covering the Birds. Good stuff, EJ. We will talk to you soon, man. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Thanks for having me.
Have a good weekend, dude.
Yep. EJ, always insightful stuff there. All right, so here's what we're going to do when we come back, guys. We're going to dig into the AFC, and we're going to rank the best teams in the AFC, which is a powerhouse, man, to say the least, of a conference for sure. So we'll dive into that a little later. Barrett and I will give our movie reviews of Jurassic World and Hustle. And we got a lot more in store. Don't go anywhere. He is Barrett Brooks. He's Derek Gunn. I am Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I need to let you know about Pro Action Restoration. We get some crazy weather this time of year, heavy rains, and you know what could happen. That could cause flooding. It could cause a lot of other stuff, some bad stuff in your house, at your business, whatever, that you don't need. But just in case, I need you to be ready. And the best way to be ready is Pro Action Restoration, whether it's a home, a business that you own, a property that you own, whatever. If it's fire, water, smoke, mold, you know how difficult and trying that can be. And if you're not an expert on how to handle it, they are. Pro Action is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I experienced water damage at my parents' house a few years back. They were there quickly. They cleaned the place up. The crew was professional, and the price was very reasonable from Pro Action Restoration. They're licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction, by the way, with your insurance company. So whether it's water, fire, smoke, mold remediation, you name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760. That's 610-623-3760. Or go to proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
All right, did you know I was the mommy slam dunk champion?
Really?
Yes, really don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left, fake a mom. Mama go up, mama!
She did it.
Again? You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh. Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Happy Friday, everybody. We are back. We are Sports Take. He is Derek Gunn. He is Barrett Brooks. I am Rob Ellis. You can catch us each and every day, noon to 3 Eastern, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. That's where you can also check out, as well as jakibsports.com, a lot of our old interviews that we've done in the past over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, last couple of months. We've been doing the shows. So just hop on. You can check them out. You can check out entire shows as well. It's the beauty of the streaming venue that we are in. That's for sure, the digital side of this thing. Always good talking to EJ. A little bit later in the show, we'll dive into the Eagles' defensive line. Barrett's going to give us some analysis from what he saw up close and personal when he was out there on Wednesday at the NovaCare Complex. Again, Eagles don't start camp until July 26th, so that's when it starts to get real again. Of course, then the season starts in September. All right,
How about this, Rob? Look at this. Camp is 7 weeks away. 6.5, 7 weeks away. A guy like Jordan Davis, that's a lot of time not having the structure of being in camp, being around the team. Mm-hmm. And, we know that weight has been an issue for him.
Yeah.
Guys that, don't, may not work as hard as they do unless they have somebody looking over their shoulder. Not just Jordan Davis, but I mean, a lot of guys on the team that don't necessarily come in and they need that structure. That's an awful lot of time, man. So, we talk about the debate of whether the Eagles should, take those last 4 days of camp.
Yeah.
Mandatory days of camp, or not even having a mandatory camp period. I mean, a mandatory OTA period. That's, to me, I don't know if this team is mature enough to do this.
Yeah, you know what? That's an interesting point, Barrett. I really hope a guy like Jordan Davis is living here in the city or in Philadelphia area, wherever he lives here, but in this area, and he's at the NovaCare complex
right
every day. I really do, because you're right. I mean, you don't know what could end up happening. I remember Jalen Reagor's rookie year, he showed up and failed his physical because he wasn't in good enough shape.
Yep.
And I worry about that with these guys. I think that's a really that's a great point you bring up. This is a long period of time, man. I mean, what is it?
And it's just some experience.
June 10th. Yeah, right. You lived it. I mean, you're right. We are legitimately a month and a half from those guys having to report here.
Well, not only that, but these bigger guys, they have a little bit more money now, even though it's only OTA mini, a little bit more money. They're going to eat a little better now. They can be taking out their buddies. They eat a little bit better now. And, they don't have a trainer, a nutritionist standing over the top of them about keeping the weight down. Don't eat certain things. Eliminate foods that cause you to gain weight more rapidly. Go this route in terms of your diet so you can maintain and we can enhance it when you get back. It's almost like you have to start over from square one by the time training camp rolls around again.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a great point.
Real talk, man. Kev joking, but man, that was a major thing for me, bro. That was a major thing for me. White Castles and Chinese food, bro. I mean,
woo.
I could afford it then. I went from eating I went from eating oodles and noodles, hamburger helper with no hamburger in them, to eating filet mignon and shrimp. And you just, it's just a different ideology about the foods I should consume and what I shouldn't consume, being able to afford it versus whether I didn't eat because I was just hungry because I had the money to eat, eating what I wanted to eat. No, those are all things. And at that time, it wasn't as good as everything, that they're doing now as far as keeping guys on a strict diet, being able to go to the training table, stuff like that. It wasn't thought about that. The only person that was doing that stuff then was Bill Romanowski. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Him and his pill box. So, they have readily available to them a lot better means of eating better. That's kind of what Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts came in and you look at him, he looks like he's slimmed up, but he actually got more tone, got ripped up. You know what I'm saying? He looks better. He played at 220 last year. He really looks like
was he 220 last year? Wow.
Yeah. He's tightened up where he needed to tighten up.
Huh.
And his body looks like he's shredded now, man. He's the same size as far as weight, but he's built better now. You know what I'm saying? He has a physique now that looks like he put the work in and he worked his ass off.
Yeah, that part's never in doubt with him, for sure. But you're right, Barry. I think the other thing that happens too sometimes, and I don't mean I'm not talking about some undrafted rookie who didn't get any kind of signing bonus, but a guy like Jordan Davis, frankly, could afford to have a chef or a personal trainer if you really are trying to take this thing seriously or not. It could. I don't know if he does or he doesn't, but he could. And the team also will send you, essentially, just a breakdown of here's what you should be eating, here's what you should be doing, right? I mean, but we know how that is.
Well, Jordan Davis' mom is going to be living with him. And,
right.
And you're right. It seems that he's serious about watching his weight. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, he is. You could tell he's serious about it because he came in looking a lot better than he even looked when I saw him at the Maxwell Awards up till where I saw him just this week.
And he brought it up. He brought it up a ton when he met with the media this past week or so. He brought it up a lot. His weight. He said, "Look, I know, I get it. This is different now. Now I'm a pro. Like I'm not. This is what."
Yeah, but having your mom live with you is good and bad.
Yeah.
Now mom's going to look out for you, but when you're still 20, 21, 22, mom also makes your favorite meals because you're her baby, and 9 times out of 10, those favorite foods are the worst foods that you can eat. They're greasy, They're fat saturated. I mean, you know, but you're gonna do it for your baby. You know, you can make what the baby wants.
D-Gun don't mean you, Mom. D-Gun doesn't mean you, Mom. Even though I love.
Yes, I did.
Are you calling out Mrs. Brooks? Is that what you're doing?
No. Good.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying if
All right.
Mrs. Brooks is the kind of mom I think she is, all Barrett had to say was, "Mommy, can you make me my favorite meal?" Hey, look, he knows what I'm talking about. See, Mommy, can you make this for me? Oh yeah, baby, I got you covered.
Ain't nothing like some fried chicken, mashed potatoes,
see, there you go. There you go.
Corn. Oh man, she makes some, you know, fresh hot water cornbrid. You know,
Oh,
all
hot
that
water
good stuff.
cornbread. Oh my goodness.
See, I mean, nothing like it, bro.
See, all the foods that are wrong for you.
It is. And look, it's tough too, because you also think when you're 21, 22, you're invincible. And, you know, frankly, you can burn stuff off a lot quicker than you can when you're 32, 33. I hope he gets it from a young age, that the difference in you being in the league a long time and or being dominant or just being a guy could maybe be your weight. So just take it seriously, man. Like you know, you can do what you want when you retire, but at least for these years, try and maximize, you know, what you can do here. He seems like an aware enough kid. He also seems like a nice enough kid where I don't think he thinks he's bigger than I think he kind of gets it. So I'm hopeful, but you're right, Barry. Who knows, man? And it's not just him. It could be. It's every one of these, especially the young guys. But if they pay attention and listen to some of the older dudes, they'll tell you, you know, how to go about this thing the right way. Hopefully they do. But you know, they say youth is wasted on the young, man. So who knows? Who knows?
If I knew then what I know now.
Amen. Amen, brother. All right, so let's dig into the AFC here. This was not an easy chore.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I
got
really
a shocker at number 2 that you guys could be like, huh?
Okay. I really went back and forth up top. Like I got to tell you, between the Chiefs, Bills, and the Bengals, man, you know, with the Bills, my logic is I really like the Bills, but are they always going to be that bridesmaid and never is it always going to be, oh my God, look how close, like Cleveland was in the 80s and 90s or 80s, if people can remember that far back, but you know, that kind of thing. I don't think that's the case.
Days.
Yeah. Ernest Biner and, you know, remember that group. Yeah. I wonder about that. I look at the Chiefs and I say, okay, well, they lost Tyreek Hill, but, and, you know, Mahomes, at times looked human last year a few times where I thought he was forcing things. And, you know, can they get him back to being magical Mahomes? And then I look at the Bengals and I say, okay, they went crazy last year, but was that just they got on a little bit of a run, you know, ended up in the Super Bowl? I don't know. I mean, and then I'm like, don't discount a team like the Ravens. There's other teams. A team I'm totally writing off, and I shouldn't be, is probably the Steelers, because I just don't like their quarterback situation, but they're really good defensively. So anyway, that's my spiel on the AFC. I'll give you my order in a second. But when you guys were going through this exercise, what were you going through?
I was going through the same thing, and you can't get you can't make this list just off the quarterbacks. You know, and I know a lot of people that do these lists just go off the, you know, how good is your quarterback. But it's got to be the totality of the teams. Mm-hmm. You got to look at all the teams and what they bring, the defense, the offense, offensive line, receivers, the targets, you know, the running backs, you know, people rushing the passer. And that's what made it hard because, all right, everybody wants to think Denver. Denver got what you want. They got everything that you need as far as, you know, they got a quarterback now. They've got a pretty good defense. And they got receivers to throw to. They got running backs. But how does that fit all together, you know? So that's what, you know, that's what made my list a lot harder. Mm-hmm. And that's why I went in the direction I went.
Yeah. Look, how about you, Gunnar? What was the struggles that you went through when you were kind of trying to break this thing down?
Whether to include Cincinnati or not, because Cincinnati finished with a 10-7 record, yet they made it to the Super Bowl. They had a picket fence offensive line quarterback, Joe Burrow, was getting killed, and yet they got to the Super Bowl. Was it a fluke, or is this team legit because of the offensive firepower they have, both in the running game and the passing game as well? There's 5 teams I left off my list that could go deep into the playoffs this year. That's how difficult it was. But I based my list on number 1, teams that are also close, teams that if they were healthy last year would have made some noise in the playoffs. My biggest concern about 3 of my 5 teams that I put on my list is their defenses last year were middle of the road defenses, yet they had the firepower to be heavyweights. But unfortunately, again, in a lot of cases, because of injuries, things bottomed out for them. So it was tough, man. I compiled like 7 different lists in a span of a half hour based on, will this team stay healthy? Was this team a fluke last year? Did they improve their defense? How much did they improve in terms of way of the draft and free agency? It wasn't easy, man, because 5 of the teams that I left off my list would be legitimate contenders over in the NFC.
Yep.
That's how tough it was.
100%. Well, that's one of the things you realize when you're going through this is, man, especially the top of this conference is far superior, in my opinion, to the NFC.
Absolutely.
Now, how long was this list supposed to be? I
5 teams.
Yeah, which would I mean, if you wanted to, if you want to
5.
throw your other, your 6 and 7 in there, that's fine. I mean, whatever. But the Broncos are another team that you sort of say to yourself, pretty good defense. Throw Russell Wilson in there, like, what are they going to look like here? New coach, et cetera. So, you go back and forth. But anyway, all right, I'll give you mine, and you guys tell me kind of where, if I'm crazy, where you guys stand with this one. All right, so I go Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Ravens, Broncos. That's my 5. Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Ravens, Broncos. Then I threw like Colts, Chargers, Patriots, Steelers after that. But that was my initial 5. And believe me, like, you could flip the first 2. I really went back and forth with the Bills and the Chiefs, but that's my list.
Well, I mean, that's really what the conventional list is, and I'm thinking that from last year. That's how we're ranking last year. I think going into this year, I got a dark horse in there that I don't think people are giving them enough credit.
Okay. And
with them having a new coach and understanding, all about the Patriot way, I don't see how you don't include them. I'm talking about the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? The Raiders, to me, man, they got it all. They've got it all. They got Josh Daniels is their coach. He's not going to do the same thing he did by bringing in a Tim Tebow. This is not going to be that type of – he's not going to be that type. He's learned and went through those bumps and bruises. I think that Josh Daniels has a legit team. They went out and got Devontae Adams. As far as running the rock, they got Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Kenyon Drake. They got some people that they can tote the rock.
Yep.
They have probably a top 2 tight end in Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm.
So, that just that alone puts him up there. Hunter Renfrow is one of the best route running wide receivers in the league. He's dominant. You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
So, they went out and got backpack boy, Mac Hollins.
Backpack boy.
So, they're going to be good, man. A lot of people are not counting. But then what really puts me in a sense that this team is ready to go. They went out and got Chandler Jones to rush opposite, of Crosby. That's a lot of pressure.
That's a good combo right there, man.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. And I already like what they have at in the secondary. They went out and cherry picked Yassine Rock Yassine.
Yeah, Temple kid.
Remember Temple guy, Temple.
Yep.
Well,
Barrett, Indianapolis.
They're so hard to gauge off of last year because, I mean, my God, man, the stuff that went on with that organization.
And they still were good enough to make it to the playoffs.
I mean, whoa. But yeah, I hear.
But that's a major reason why I put them number 2.
So you have them 2? Wow.
I have them 2.
Ooh,
so,
that's high, man.
So I went Bills, Raiders, Chiefs. Then I went Bengals. Then I went Broncos.
Damn.
Which means I left out the Chargers.
And the Ravens.
Yeah. Titans, Miami, and then Steelers.
I will say I'm surprised you have the Raiders that high. That's surprising.
Yeah. I mean, I knew, but I mean, realistically, man, just the list alone I just told you about, they have everything they need, And then I think Jonathan Abrams, people don't realize how good that kid is. He's a thumper.
He's
he
a
makes
hitter.
you where
He's an old school hitter.
Yeah, yeah. You got to make sure you know exactly where he is, and you know, and you know, he's that guy that, you know, that's going to have that defense going and playing at a high level, man. So that's why I picked them number 2, because they went through all that adversity last year, still made the playoffs, and it's not like they just won the last 4 games. I mean, it's like 5 or 6 games they won to get to the playoffs.
Give me your 5 one more time. Give me 1
Bills,
5. Okay.
Raiders, Chiefs, Bengals, Broncos.
All right, interesting list. So Gunnar, tell me where you're at with this and hearing Barrett and I.
Well, first of all, the 5 teams that did not make my final list that were on one of my many initial lists were Chargers, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Patriots, and Denver. They did not make my final list for various reasons. I went Buffalo number 1 because the Buffalo came out of the gate last year in 5 of the first 6 games. They scored 30-plus points. They are the number 1 ranked defense in the league. They have arguably the best safety tandem in Jordan Poyer, who the Eagles gave up on, and Micah Hyde. Micah Hyde is legit Pro Bowler every year.
Yep.
You know, they have Stephon Diggs, but look at the defense. They got Ed Oliver, Shaq Lawson. They got some great, and then they drafted that kid, Khair Elam, to start at cornerback for him as well.
Yep.
And so I just think they're going to be the creme de la creme. My number 2 team is Kansas City. Yes, they lost to Cheetah, but they went out and picked up Marcus Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster. And people don't even talk about Mecole Hardman, who's a very good wide receiver.
He could really step up.
He was just
Georgia. He's a speed guy. He's a cheetah.
Yes. He was just lost in the shadows of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Now Kansas City had the 3rd ranked defense overall. They averaged almost 29 points a game. Anytime you keep Patrick Mahomes upright and breathing with the creativity that he can do playground football, and the fact that their offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, that combination is dangerous every time they step out on the football field. They're going to press a defense 28, 38 points a game. My number 3 team, believe it or not, was 8-9 last year, but Baltimore is my number 3 team. And here's
3.
why.
Wow.
Number 3.
Okay.
Baltimore lost their top 3 running backs last year. And yet Baltimore, of course, obviously because of Lamar Jackson, they still finished with the 3rd best rushing attack in the NFL at almost 146 yards a game. Okay. They had the number 6 overall offense. Now, they got J.K. Dobbins coming back. You got Gus Edwards, two tough running backs. You got Marcus Peters back there. Now, people don't know this. I've been keeping this under wrap. The safety they pick up, Marcus Williams, the Eagles basically had a deal done for Marcus Williams. And in the 11th hour, Baltimore came in and stole him from the Eagles. So you got Marcus Williams, and you got Marlon Humphreys on the other side.
They're nasty back there.
They got nasty on that back end. Yep. Okay, my number 4 team is Cincinnati, and this team is a team that I have a big question mark about. They won a division at 10-7. Their offensive line is a sieve, but because they have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd and Hayden Hurst for Joe Burrow to throw to, this team ended up in the Super Bowl. And as bad as the offensive line was, they averaged 27 points a game. They had the offense overall was only number 13 in the league last year, but they were scoring 27 points a game, which helped them get a lot of where to go. Now, my number 5 team is a team you guys both talked about, is the Raiders. You know, the addition of Devontae Adams is huge. Will Devontae Adams have that same type of relationship with Derek Carr as he had with Aaron Rodgers? That remains to be seen. But the Raiders have so much. I mean, they got the 2 running backs. Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs are bangers between the tackle. Crosby, Chandler, and I love their linebacker, Denzel Perryman. I love their will linebacker they have.
Yes.
You know, so they can bang. But see, Raiders were a middle-of-the-road defense.
Yep.
Baltimore was a middle-of-the-road defense. Cincinnati was a middle-of-the-road defense, and so was Kansas City. So 4 of my 5 teams, the defense is a suspect. Now, going back to Kansas City for just a moment, I forgot to add this. We know Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the number 1. I forgot all about, they picked up Ronald Jones from Tampa Bay.
Oh, that's right.
To compliment him. And, we all know what Ronald Jones can do.
Yeah, he's a good
So
player.
offensively, so those are my 5. Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and the Raiders. Somehow, some way, I could not get the Chargers, Indy, Tennessee, Patriots, and Denver on that list, on my final list.
Well, let me add.
Shocking to me. My fault.
Yeah, no, go ahead, back.
What's shocking to me, none of us picked the Chargers.
Yes.
Up there, I mean, and the Chargers at this point, I mean, there's looking like they might be able to compete, man. I mean, you know, Jalen, what's his name? Jalen Guyton. That's a 4-3 guy.
Right.
Straight speed. Big Mike Williams, consistent deep threat.
Love Mike Williams.
A big target. They got the old man. Keenan Allen is still one of the best route runners.
Yes.
Create separation all the time.
Yes.
They got, their offensive line is already good. Rashawn Slater, one of the best young tackles in the league. They went out and got Zion Johnson, got him in the first round.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that I watched. I did a Toledo game, and we're talking about a guy that's massive, 6'7", like 320, comes off the rock, a mountain of a dude, bro. And they got him in the first round. So they just solidified, both bookends, for their quarterback.
Okay.
Defensive side of the ball, they went and got some help.
Yeah. They got another complimentary they got Khalil Mack, right? Didn't they get Khalil Mack?
Yeah, but you know what? Khalil Mack has not been the same player
Yeah.
since the first year he signed that monster contract with Detroit, with Chicago.
He's enough, though. He's enough. And then partner him with
Bosa.
Kenneth, Bosa. But man, people forgot about how good Kenneth Murray was. Remember him from Oklahoma?
Absolutely.
Man,
But here's why I can't pick the Chargers. I've been following the Chargers a long time. Every time I open my mouth and say this is the year of the Chargers, they find a way to choke. Every doggone year, they find a way to choke.
But I will say,
your boy's son, Asante Samuel Jr.
He had a good year. In terms of upside, Herbert's got crazy. I mean, he could go into a different stratosphere.
No question.
He's that good. But let me ask you guys about the Ravens, because I do think everything, Gunner, you laid out is, right, certainly right on. Do we believe that Lamar Jackson can win a Super Bowl?
There lies the problem.
I don't know.
Right? I mean, ultimately, let's say he's got to throw in a playoff game, and you're taking they're doing whatever. The team's doing a good job against their running attack, and he's got to throw you to a win.
Yes.
You're down 2 or 3 touchdowns, whatever.
Right.
That's what I just need to see it. I'm not saying no, but I'm not sold that he can either.
Oh, and by the way, they got with a Hollywood what's his name?
Brown.
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah. I don't know when it comes to Lamar Jackson, because I think he would try to win a game more so with his legs than his arm, and he has a great arm. He can throw it a country mile.
Mm-hmm.
But at a crucial point in the game, better defenses are going to start defending for you trying to take. Now, the man's a magician. He's Houdini when he takes off, slipping under what would appear to be sacks, taking off running, outrunning pursuit angles to pick up additional yards. And if he gets an open field, you can kiss it goodbye. But I want to see my quarterback be more complete. Throw the ball down the field to your targets to get you there. I don't know if he can do that consistently. So you're right. That's a huge question mark. But I do believe if Baltimore had been healthy last year, they lost a lot of players due to injuries. If they'd have been healthy last year, I do think, number one, they would have won a division, and I do believe they would have been in that AFC Championship game somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm.
I like their defense, man.
I do too. Even though the numbers weren't impressive on their defense, they were like in the middle of the pack defensively last year. They were beat up. Yeah, they were beat up.
Yeah. They were a mess with injuries last year.
They lost both starting corners, the top 3 running backs, and they still won 8 out of 17 games somehow.
Yeah.
So if
they lost Marcus Peters.
That's a tribute to the coach. But go ahead, Mark.
They lost Marcus Peters. They lost Humphreys.
Yes, they did.
Their safeties, Chuck Clark, you said that he might, what's his name? EJ said that he's somebody that they might get jettison, what I'm saying? With them bringing in Kyle Hamilton, I love that kid, man. I love this ability to play. Yeah. But, their starting center was the best center in the draft. I think our guys, up there with them. But, Tyler Linderbaum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
really good player. Iowa guy, them were nasty players.
They're another one. We talked about Wisconsin. They produce a lot of good offensive linemen.
Yeah. So, the AFC is just nasty, bro. Just nasty.
Yeah, imagine putting half of those teams over in the NFC.
Oh, they would dominate. They would dominate.
Oh,
it's deep too. We're leaving out a lot of these teams that are really good, and we're discounting the Patriots, which you never want to do with Belichick.
And they were 10-7 last year.
I know.
We're leaving out the best running back in the NFL with the Titans.
Yes,
come on.
Yes. But I'm not a big Tannehill.
They were the
fan,
number 1
especially
seed,
without,
by the way, last year.
Right.
I'm not a big Tannehill fan, especially without AJ Brown.
I'm not either. I think there's a ceiling with that guy. Like
Absolutely.
he's not going to kill you. He's fine. But
and how many picks did he throw in that AFC Championship?
I agree with you. Like Derek, I'll apply the same thing. If they're somehow taking away Derrick Henry or you're down big, can he throw you into can he win you a game throwing? I'm not sold he can.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Denver is the X factor. They have a proven winner at quarterback.
Yep.
They are so deep in pass catchers. But for some reason, Denver finds a way to falter. I mean, they were 7-10 last year. Obviously, they didn't have Russell Wilson. Right. Russell Wilson changes the whole complexion of how you attack a defense now.
Yes, sir.
But can they get it done? See, that's the big thing for me. Can they get it done in a Mile High City? I don't know. And it's amazing because Denver, out of 7 lists I came up with, Denver was on 4 of my 7 lists. Mm-hmm. When I compiled my final list, Denver didn't make the cut for a number of reasons.
They squeaked in. I had them at 5, but I mean, they just squeaked in for me. I also think the Colts are a little dangerous. I'm not telling you they're great, but they're dangerous, man.
I don't like the receiving. I don't like the receiving core. I love their running game. Yep. I love their physicality on both sides of the D line.
Yep.
The defense overall. I'm not in love with their pass catchers.
Yep.
And Matt Ryan is a proven quarterback. Now, Matt Ryan to me is like a Kirk Cousins. He can't win the big game, hasn't won the big game. And obviously, you can't put all that on a quarterback's shoulders because there's so many other intangibles that happen that cause these things. But Matt Ryan, has got to show that he can win a big game. And with the collection of pass catchers they have, I'm not impressed.
Bro,
I got it. And Hilton can't stay healthy.
I mean, all they have is Pittman Jr., Michael Pittman Jr. That's all they have. I don't understand what is that Andy Reid 2.0 when like he was in Philly?
I know. Yeah. Is it this right think the system you can just produce with anybody? I'm with you, Barrett. That to me, if you're looking at an issue, it's going to be explosiveness for them. Like you know what Taylor's going to bring to the table, but who's your explosion guy?
I mean,
exactly.
They have nobody. They have a bunch of nobodies. I don't see any of them. I mean, Paris Campbell, he hasn't done anything since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
I don't see it, bro. Maybe somebody. I mean,
Pittman's solid, but you're right. He's not elite, and he doesn't have help. So he's gonna get to see a lot of attention, for sure.
But hey, Matt Ryan's the guy to get it to him, though.
Yeah, for no doubt. All right, we'll come back. Let's dig a little bit into the Eagles' defensive line and Barrett, how you think these guys are going to be utilized. What from a depth perspective, what this is going to look like. So we'll get into the Eagles defense when we get back. All right, a lot more in store. By the way, the movie reviews a little bit later. NBA Finals. Another receiver gets paid in the NFL. And this day, 15 years ago, something pretty significant happened in TV history. So we'll do that as well. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
All right, did you know I was the mommy slam dunk champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, up, up.
She did it.
Again? You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh. Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
What up, everybody? Hour number 3 of the program. We are Sports Take. Join us each and every Monday through Friday, 12 to 3 Eastern, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's Derek Gunn. He's Barrett Brooks. I am Rob Ellis. I enjoy, and I mean this sincerely, looking at the debates in the comment section, you know, with people just kind of jumping on some of the stuff that we're talking about in terms of the AFC. You know, people stating their cases and why one team's going to be good and, you know, guys to watch and all that kind of stuff. It's very cool. I love it. I love it. So keep up the good work, everybody in the comment section. All right. Barry, we were talking about this in our pre-show meeting that we do each and every day. And you brought up the Eagles defensive line and just some of the observations, you know, some of the stuff that you saw on Wednesday when you were out there and how you think, you know, this thing may be utilized. We were talking about with EJ Smith a little bit earlier, and we've talked about this quite a bit too. The usage of how these guys are how you're going to incorporate them in odd fronts, even fronts, you know, 5-man front, 3-man front, sometimes 4-man front. How do you think this kind of plays out in terms of depth and who could be in for a rude awakening in terms of playing time, et cetera?
I mean, it's perfect for, you know, the defensive line that Gannon wants. You know, he wants a line that's going to be, well, he wants a front that you can play all 3 types of front. You got a 50 front, 30 front, and 40 front.
Explain what that means to people.
And that just means 5 defensive linemen is the 50 front, 30 front is 3 defensive linemen. And that just means, you know, it really depends on where you line your guys up. A 50 front meaning that's usually what we call a bear front or Navajo front. That means the center is covered by a defensive lineman, a nose guard, and the 2 tackles are on the guards. That makes it hard for you to go up and get linebackers because there's nowhere it's usually the defensive tackles, the offensive guards that go get the linebackers. But, you know, in a 50 front, all those guys are covered. And then on the outside over your tackles, as far as rush ends or rush linebackers, you can consider them either you can have a defensive lineman or a defensive end or a linebacker defensive end on the outside. So that potentially that's 5 defensive linemen. Now, what killed the Eagles last year and really put Gannon behind the buck is his inability to stop productive first downs by offenses. Offenses were averaging like 5 to 6 yards on first down. You're automatically behind the sticks then, because if you have to stop a team on 2nd and 4 or 3rd and 2, I mean, that's like throwing an alley-oop. That's a slam dunk. You know, it's just too easy to run your offenses because your playbook and when you're 1st and 10 or 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 10, it goes down like this. But when you have 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, you know, 3rd and 4, now you have a lot more plays you can run to get that first down. So that was the biggest issue this Eagles defense had last year was their inability to stop offenses on first down from being successful. With a 50 front and a 30 front, you're less apt to do that because now, number one, you usually have better athletes on the field. You got rush ends that are linebacker-esque. Then you have 2 linebackers lined up over the top of you. There's more people in the box. And you got the big guys sitting right there in the middle, in the interior of that defense, and you can't just run up the middle like they were last year. And that's a lot of the problem that, you know, a guy like Fletcher Cox had, because he wanted to get up the field and make plays and one gap things. And you can't do that if you have a defense in which you want to keep the linebackers clean so they can make plays. So when Fletcher jumped up the field, it created a chasm between his gap and the guy next to him's gap, and they were just running through those gaps. So now that Fletcher understands what the directive of the defense, you know, what the directive is, I got to stay in my gap. I got to press the issue, make sure I'm keeping these linebackers clean. Now these guys can go out there and make plays. Now they're more apt to go out there and make plays. So, you know, it's going to lead to guys playing fresher, because now you can rotate guys. They have a lot of guys that can play, a lot of guys that are good. I mean, you guys were talking about Milton Williams a lot. He could virtually play 30 snaps a game, with Fletcher Cox playing 30 snaps a game, with Javon Hargrave playing 30 snaps a game, with Brandon Graham playing 30 snaps a game. If you're only playing that many snaps a game, that means you can maximize your effort on every single play. You can go all out on every single play, knowing that you're not going to be in for a lot of the time in the game.
Especially in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. You're going to be fresher going into the fourth quarter, because you didn't have to go out there and play the entire game. It's not like you're going out there and averaging 50, 60 plays a game. Now you only get 30.
Barrett, how effective do you think Fletcher Cox is going to be this year?
If they go by what I think they're going to do and play him on, you know, play him sparingly, well, not necessarily sparingly, but play him in a rotation, he can be very effective. I mean, you can come in on first down, go in there, make a play. Now it's 2nd and 10. Then he might go off the field. They bring in Milton Williams on 2nd and 10. Then now you got 3rd and 8. When you got 3rd and 8, you bring Fletcher Cox back in, line him up at the next to Brandon Graham, who, by the way, is going to get about 20 snaps a game. You know, so imagine how fresh he's going to be, but only playing 20 snaps a game. Now he's rushing in their NASCAR package. Now you have Hassan Reddick on one side. On the other side, you got Brandon Graham, or you could kick Brandon Graham in and have him play the 3 technique. You could put Sweat outside, or you could put, Derek Barnett on the outside. Then you have, Hargraves sitting in there sometimes. I mean, you could just run so many different multiple fronts that it'll be hard to really block it. And also it's hard for an offensive line, because you don't know what they're going to bring out there. They might bring out there, you look and you see, all right, they got 5 defensive linemen out here. Well, it's not 5 defensive linemen, because you got a linebacker in Hassan Reddick, that's going to become a lineman. And, it's just hard for, to get a beat on what they're trying to do to you as an offensive lineman. So your calls are going to be kind of messed up, because you don't know who to block, because you don't know what position they're playing at that point. They might bring in Hassan Reddick thinking he's a defensive end, and all of a sudden they drop him, put him over the tight end, bring out the tackle, and now he's hit up over there. Now they have an over front, which is a basic 40 front, a 4-down front with 3 linebackers in there. It's hard to pick up those type of things when you get a beat on what the defensive coordinator is doing against you when you're an offensive lineman, trying to make your calls and make, specific guys you want to trade. Like, even, all right, you want to go in, all right, who is it? 7's the Mike. That's Hassan Reddick. 7's Mike. 7's the Mike. Then all of a sudden he moves out on the outside and plays defensive end. You slide that defensive end all the way down to the 3 technique. Now it's a 50 front. A 50 front, your rules are totally different from a 40 front. They're totally different from a 30 front, because now you got to block 5 on 5. The 5 defensive linemen, the 5 guys on the line, and now those linebackers are basically free. If a running back's not picking them up, they're usually hot, and you can generate a lot of pressure with those type of fronts.
All right, I love this, okay? I love hearing this. I love the fresh bullets that you keep firing, all of this. I love it. Let me play devil's advocate. Is there any disadvantage? I don't mean completely overworking somebody, but to being out there and working up that lather and being in a rhythm, being yanked all the time. Is there a downside to that?
There is a downside, because some guys, that's how they play. They want, just like you get a running back, he doesn't get better till after his 20th carry. After his 20th carry, now he's breaking runs, breaking runs. You get those type of instances where you got a guy that wants to rush back, like BG. I see BG as one of those type of guys. Brandon gets better as the game goes on when he's rushing the pass because now he's getting a bead on what his guy is doing to him. Now he can counter those things that he's been he knows this guy can't block. So he gets better as the reps go more because he's steady picking you apart on what he does best and what you don't do best, and he can really analyze what you're doing. So you can really take advantage of his shortcomings because you know what his shortcomings are. When you're going off the field every other play, you really don't get a bead on what he's doing. But you got guys that they're specialists. A guy can go out there and just rush the pass. That's all I want you to do to rush the pass. And Fletcher Cox could be that guy. That's all. Fletcher, all I want you to do is get out there, get in your three-point stance, get up the field, create havoc. He can do that all day. But then you got a guy like Jordan Davis. He want to put him right up over the nose and tell him, you just take this center and you just kick his ass all game.
Right.
That's all I want you to do.
Yeah, let everybody else, make the play.
Exactly. So if he's doing that, they're going to say, all right, hey, man, I need somebody to help me. So now you got two people blocking Jordan Davis. That means that linebacker's free. In all these different scenarios that can be run, depending on what personnel package you have out there. And I know they're doing it because when I'm at practice, I see the way they break groups up. It used to be last year that the defensive line were all together. That means defensive ends, defensive tackles, nose guard, all those guys in one position. When I watched practice the other day, the rush ends, the defensive ends, and the rush linebackers, the Hassan Reddicks, both of the Johnsons, Matt Leo, who's going to be a pretty good player too. Remember I said that name,
Matt Leo.
Leo. Even though he has a nasty number, it's number 66. That's a nasty.
That was Bill Berge, man. Berge back in the day.
No, Berge could get away with it. You know what I'm saying? He was a tough SOB, but he's gonna have to switch that up.
You don't see a lot of linebackers are wearing 66 anymore.
Right. But you see those guys in the same group. Like Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick were in the same group. You know what I'm saying? They were in the same group. So that means, that to me, that indicates there's going to be a lot of 50 fronts and 30 fronts because of those guys are in the same group because you group them as defensive end / linebacker-esque type of players. So it just gives you a lot more versatility in how you do things. And they're doing drills to try to get them used to being out there on an edge and a linebacker type of scenario when he may drop or a rushing scenario where he has to, get up the field and create pressure and his responsibility on stopping the run because they still got to stop the run also.
Man, when I hear you, and look, that's in addition to the moves that they made, but when I hear you talk like that, I can't wait to see this defense. I wonder, I just hope Gannon's up to all of this. Like it feels like you need a real savant / genius to be able to pull this off. I don't know. This sounds that potentially, man, they have more versatility than almost any defensive front in football.
Well, they do. They do, but you have to be able to execute it. You got to find guys that fit in there also. If you don't have guys that fit in, what you're trying to do is all for naught. See, it's crazy because, when you look at Hargrave, Javon Hargrave came from a 3-4 system. He was a 3-down guy. He came from a 30 front. That's what the Steelers are. He played the nose. Even though he was a small nose, he played nose guard, head up on the center. So he's used to playing in that capacity. That's why he just started, the ending part of the year before and then last year that he came into his own as far as being a really good guy, in that system. He was probably the best defensive lineman we had last year as far as, penetrating and rushing the passer. He was basically that guy. He was that dude. But, he can't play that nose position. Fletcher's never played that position. Fletcher's more so a guy that's going to be on a 3 technique, getting up the field, eating up blockers, creating havoc. That's what he is. That's what he's been doing his entire career. BG played that because remember he had Bradley here with Chip. He had to play that linebacker position, so he understands a little bit on how to play the linebacker position. It's just like riding a bike. He can play the linebacker position / defensive end, so he'll be straight. So there's so many different scenarios in which guys have played in this system before that they're going to transition, pretty seamlessly. But the good thing is Fletch will be only playing a limited amount of time. And when he's in there, I can totally see him maximize his potential and getting up and creating havoc whenever he gets an opportunity to be in the game.
Unless Howie gets the mindset, we're paying Fletcher $14 million. We got to get our money's worth out of him. You know, and you know, the last couple of years we've heard the stories about when Doug Peterson was here about how he had final say in the 53-man roster. I hope Howie stays away from this and let the coaches do what they're being paid to do, and let them come up with the schemes. Let them come up with what's the best in certain situations, and just worry about the money aspect of what this team is supposed to be and what you're trying to do to help enhance the product. Let the coaches coach. I think if Howie gets more involved in the decision-making process, it could have messed the whole thing up.
You know what, Derek, that's fair. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's making $14 million a year. Is he going to play 28% of the snaps? I don't know. I'm just throwing a random number out there. I do wonder about that, if that doesn't come into play. I hope he's not overlording like that. Like, I really hope he's not, you know, Howie's not saying to Jonathan Gannon, come on, man, like he only got X amount of snaps. You know, it's got to be game by game where you figure this thing out. Look, they're paying Derek Barnett a decent amount of whatever.
Where does he fit?
Yeah, where does he fit? Exactly. I mean, I don't know. How are you going to try and justify Jordan Davis more than you normally would? Because, you know, he's a first-round pick. All these are fair questions to ask. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's a good thing you built, it looks like a diversified defensive line with a lot of depth where you could do a lot of different things with these guys. Absolutely. But also, how much does the political stuff, for lack of a better word, come into play?
Well, it always comes into play, man. You know, you're paying a guy, you want to get your money's worth. You know, you want to get that. Hey, man, you're not doing enough. I need you to go out there and, you know, I mean, and that's the nature of, you know, how things go in the NFL.
Yeah, no question about it.
How it goes.
Yeah. All right. So let's step aside, and when we come back, we'll get our movie review caps on, Barrett. We'll do that with Jurassic World, and I'll give you Hustle, the Adam Sandler Netflix movie. I looked at that. I watched that last night. We'll dive into that. LeBron wants to be an owner. We'll touch on that, and a little news coming down from the Commanders.
Oh yeah,
as well, based on some of the stuff we've spoken about this week with Jack Del Rio. So we'll update you on that as well. Don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, up, up.
She did it.
Again?
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
All right, final segment of the show. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. All right, so guys, let me start with this one as we dive into the open talk here. The Washington Commanders have handed down a $100,000 fine to defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio. Let me give you the statement from Ron Rivera, their head coach. They put out a little while earlier. Quote, "This morning I met with Coach Del Rio to express how disappointed I am in his comments on Wednesday. His comments do not reflect the organization's views and are extremely hurtful to our great community here in the DMV. As we saw last night in the hearings, what happened on the Capitol on January 6, 2021 was an act of domestic terrorism. A group of citizens attempted to overturn the results of a free and fair election, and as a result, lives were lost and the Capitol building was damaged. Coach Del Rio did apologize for his comments on Wednesday, and he understands the distinction between the events of that dark day and peaceful protest, which are a hallmark of our democracy. He does have the right to voice his opinion as a citizen of the United States, and it most certainly is his constitutional right to do so. However, words have consequences, and his words hurt a lot of people in our community. I want to make it clear that our organization will not tolerate any equivalency between those who demanded justice in the wake of George Floyd's murder and the actions of those January 6th who sought to topple our government. After reflecting on the situation and circumstances, I have decided to fine Coach Del Rio $100,000, which the team will donate to the United States Capitol Police Memorial Fund. I feel strongly that after our conversation this morning, he will have a greater understanding for the impact of his language and values that our team stands for." So they hit him in the pocketbook. There is an acknowledgement from the head coach who brought him in, and the organization is taking action. He is not fired, but he is still there. So there it is.
What a dumpster fire that organization is. I mean, they get more publicity and notoriety for stuff happening off the field than what they do on the football field.
Yeah, they're notorious. That's what they are.
You know, we talk about how bad the Giants are as a football team, but the Giants at least don't get these embarrassing situations like Washington does. And I'm almost at a point where you may need to clean house. And I mean, from ownership down, except for Ron Rivera. I do think Ron Rivera is a stand-up guy. And I do think I'm a big Ron Rivera fan. But you almost need to clean house from the owner to the people that make the decisions upstairs, and just start fresh, man. Because nothing seems to go right for this team, over the last 5, 6, 7 years. I'm glad they hit Del Rio in the pocketbook. I kind of wish they would have suspended him for X amount of games, even.
That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for.
You got to be this, and this is not some 20-year-old kid making this statement. This is an older guy who understands what's going on, who's well aware of how words can penetrate and pierce through social media, and how people can twist and turn it and enhance what you're saying. You have to be a lot smarter than that. I want to see the statement coming out saying he's had a closed-door meeting with his players, and then, of course, we're going to hear certain things that leak out eventually about what that closed-door meeting entails. So I don't think this is over for Del Rio. He still needs to go behind closed doors and have a powwow with a lot of players, especially the African-American players on that team.
Yeah, I think the common thread here with this team over the years has been Daniel Snyder. And as long as he's there, you're going to continue to have this kind of thing, these kind of issues with this team. And it's always going to be off the field stuff. And it's never about what's happening. The stadium they built there is a piece of junk. I mean, we could just go on and on and on. But yeah, I figured this is the least they could do for Del Rio. It would have been interesting if they had suspended him based off of this. But I'm with you, get both of you guys. I don't know how this plays in the locker room going forward. If there's a trust factor that's been broken, a bond that's been broken, I don't know. Maybe they get over it. Maybe it was early enough in the offseason that you can get over it. If this had happened during the year, would it have been worse? I don't know. But it's clearly a tone deaf guy made those kind of statements, and now he's doing it because he got so much backlash. I don't buy that. This is where he is from the bottom of his heart or anything. I think he's doing this because he has to do it in Ron Rivera. I'm sorry, in Jack Del Rio, not Rivera. But that's just kind of the way I view it. But at least there's something. There's some kind of acknowledgement coming from the team itself regarding Del Rio. All right, so a couple other odds and ends here. LeBron wants to buy a team and put it in Vegas, an NBA team. He is. We mentioned earlier. He's part of the he's now a billionaire at this point. Forbes had it. And by the way, Tiger Woods is too. He just joined that group.
Yeah.
So Tiger is as well. But LeBron's got a piece of the Red Sox. Yeah, Manchester and the Red Sox. And so he's now looking. He can't do it till he retires, by the way. So he can't do it now in the NBA. But he wants to put a team in Vegas, which feels like it's only a matter of time with with the Raiders there and the hockey team there. It's only a matter of time for the NBA for sure.
I can see him getting together with Magic and both of them going in and buying a team, man.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, Magic's such a loyal Laker.
Yeah.
But you're right, Barrett. He's got the kind of coin. He's done so well in business that he could certainly do it.
Or Shaq.
Shaq makes sense.
Shaq's close to being a billionaire.
I bet you he is with the amount of endorsements that he has. Every commercial is Shaq. Yeah. Every single commercial you watch is Shaq in some capacity, man. It's wild.
Right. It went from George Foreman to Shaq now, man.
It is amazing. Yes. All right. Well, but there's a couple other things to get into, but I want to get your review, Barrett, without, giving too much away here. We understand. We don't want to ruin it for people, but give me what you thought. You saw Jurassic World last night in the movie.
Yeah, Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm a Jurassic Park fan. I love how it's like I'm looking at real dinosaurs when I'm looking at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the effects are
everything.
Unreal.
It's unreal, man. The way they sound, everything. I'm thinking I've seen real dinosaurs before. That's how realistic all this stuff is, man. And I know a bunch of this stuff is a little far fetched. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the Need for Speed, but the
Fast and Furious
franchise, kind of the same thing. They go above and beyond with the, all the, stunts and everything. But man, it's real, man. It's almost like I was watching a show that was real, as far as everything on it. It was I like this storyline also. The storyline is really, really good. It was all right, man. It was all right. I mean, just the chases and, of course, Raptors are always going to play a major part in it, man. But the way the Raptors were chasing people and everything, it was really, I like it. It was a good movie to me, man.
So basically, you're saying when you look at how many Jurassic Parks, Jurassic Worlds there have been made, and I guess this is the finale, if I'm correct. This is the finale of the series.
Well, unless this does really well, somehow there will be another finale.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed it. It wasn't too watered down. The storyline was okay. No. They combined the original cast with the current cast of the last few movies.
Yep.
So the storyline held your interest from start to finish.
It held up. It definitely held up.
Okay. All right. That's good. So check it out. Barrett gives it a good thumbs up here. All right. So I'll go with Hustle, which I watched last night on Netflix. It's the Adam Sandler movie. It's based in Philadelphia. He's a scout / coach, a guy who is trying to find that next guy. Like he's mining every, foreign country, just trying to come up with somebody somewhere. Right. And he's getting a lot of heat. I don't want to give too much away, but he's getting a lot of heat from his owner to find that guy. Okay. And he stumbles upon this dude who he brings over to the US and he's trying to get him ready for the combine. Okay. And get on the radar of NBA teams because he didn't play college ball or, didn't play over in any of the big time European leagues, et cetera. So he's trying to get this guy ready. It's a movie filled with cameos. Like Kenny Smith has a pretty big role in it. And he's good in it.
Yeah.
As an actor, just as an actor. Dr. J is in it. Plays a critical role in it, even though he's not in it a ton. Plays a critical role, but Billy King's in it. AI makes an appearance. Trey Young makes an appearance. Like, we could go on and on and on. Like, they're you name it, old school big. You know who's also really good? Anthony Edwards, the Minnesota Timberwolves player, is really good in it. Okay, he's really. I'm not gonna give too much away, but he's really good in it. The guy who plays this prospect that Adam Sandler finds, the character's name is Bo Cruz. He was a player who, in real life, I think had a tryout with the Celtics or the Jazz and didn't quite make it. But I think he's like bouncing around G League in Europe and all that. He's really good, man. He's really good in it. I like the movie. I would say good, not great. I would definitely say it's not a waste of your time by any stretch. And if you love basketball, you'll appreciate it. If you love the city of Philadelphia, I think it really shows the city in a great light on a lot of different fronts. And it's not just total cliched, like running up the art museum steps and all that kind of stuff. It's not just that. And Sandler's good in it. You can tell Sandler's a fan of basketball and knows it. And it's I liked it. I would say it's worth your time. It's not spectacular, but it's good. Is the best way I put it. I hope I didn't give too much.
We're so used to seeing Adam Sandler in comedy roles. So you're saying he makes a transition into a believable role as because we see video clips all the time of him actually playing basketball.
He plays all the time.
Gym, with like stars, entertainer stars, ex-NBA stars. So you're saying he's believable as this scout / coach?
He is. He is. He's It's not to say there isn't some humor in it. Like he does have some humorous stuff in it, but it's definitely more of a serious role. But yes, and he works for the Sixers, and there's a lot of art imitating life with organizational dysfunction.
Right.
Okay, if that makes sense. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in it, but it's good. It's Randall's asking how long. I don't remember, Randall, exactly. It's about hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know exactly how long it was. It wasn't one of those things where I was looking at my watch like, is this almost over? Like, I enjoyed it. So I'd say good, not great is the best way to put it.
Well,
but definitely,
okay.
Yeah, well, that's why. Look, again, you like hoops, you'll enjoy watching it.
The venue was a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park's that long?
Yeah, it was like 2.5 hours.
Okay. All right. So I would tell people to watch. So we get game 4 tonight, guys. What's our sense here with the Warriors and the Celtics? Last game, Celtics win. Steph got a little banged up, but it looks like he's going to play. Got to get rolled up on in a pile, but it looks like he's going to be able to play. I feel like a Warrior bounce back. Where do you guys fall on this one?
I think they get him again.
Boston again, go up 3-1.
He's sticking with his 3-1 guns.
Okay.
I think this is such an unpredictable series. And like I said off the top of this show, I'm enjoying watching the contrast in styles. Because you don't know who's going to get the hot hand at any given moment. Golden State has only shot well in one of the 3 games so far. Yeah. They're going to have one of those breakout games. Klay Thompson came back and hit 25 points last night. He had been a no-show the first couple of games, seems to have found his groove. You got to get Jordan Poole going, as well. I think I said it before. I think this is going to be a 7-game series. Barrett has been almost prophetic up to this point. He picked him to win the first game. He's calling it 3-1. He's been sticking with his 3-1 guns. But I'm with you, Rob, because this series is so unpredictable and the home court doesn't mean much of anything to these two teams. I'm going to lean towards Golden State bouncing back, making it 2-2, and going back home to their crazy fans.
Yeah, I'm with you. It feels like that to me. They're going to have to get help. It can't just be the Steph Klay show. No. Somebody's got to step up here for Golden State. I mean, Draymond's like a net zero in terms of ability to score on offense, but somebody of the Jordan Pools,
Looney's got to go. Yes.
Yeah. That group, they got to give them something here, man. And if they don't get it, Boston's going to win again. So they got to step their game up. That's for sure. But it should be interesting tonight. And so game 4 is tonight. Game 5 would be Sunday. And that would go. Is it 2-3-2 or does it go back to Golden State? I'll check.
I think it's 1-1-1 after this.
I think it's 1-1-1 as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up right now as we speak. So all right. So the way the schedule breaks down, it would be Yes, back to Golden State on. Oh, actually, it'd be Monday, not Sunday. Excuse me. So it'd be Monday, Thursday, Sunday. Man, do they spread this out? Jeez. So yeah,
they gotta maximize it, man.
I know, man. Get it. Go take it as long as they can get it. All right. So a couple other things. Hunter Renfroe gets 2 years, $32 million extension, 21 of which is guaranteed. He had 102 catches last year. Now he's going to have Devontae Adams. He's got Darren Waller. That's a pretty good threesome right there that Derek Carr's got to throw to, man.
That's why I said, man, it's Hunter Renfroe is a master. He's just like the kid with the Rams, bro. He runs precise routes. He knows how to get open. He reads the defense so fast and adjusts to them and able to get open. And those guys are on the cues as far as being tied at the hip. So I mean that's why I picked the Raiders. I mean I like the way Hunter Renfroe plays. Even when he was with when he was in college with
Clemson. All he did was make plays. That's all the guy did. Yeah, and big plays too. He caught the ball in the championship. The Watson throw to the corner of the end zone. He caught it right at the pylon. Yeah, no question. So he ends up getting paid. Tom Brady didn't. He was pressed yesterday. You remember the rumors about the Dolphins and he may be going there and all that. So he was pressed about that and he didn't deny it. If it was true or untrue, excuse me, I think he would have denied it right away. He sort of gave you the, hey, you talk to a lot of people in the offseason. You never know what's what. No, this and that. Meanwhile, you were still under contract technically, right? But whatever. It sounds like to me, if this stuff didn't go down with Brian Flores, like the lawsuit and everything else that is still up in the air right now, he may have been a Dolphin. It sort of feels like that vibe to me. And there was just too much smoke there for him to get involved in, what that may end up being.
Man, if he had gone to Miami with the weapons they have now on offense down there, that makes them a legitimate Super Bowl contender right out of the gate. Imagine being in Tom Brady's shoes, though, man. Everybody wants a piece of you. People throwing potential money at you, potential front office positions at you. Everywhere you turn.
It's tough for us, man. It's tough for us.
I'm telling you, man.
At the age of 45.
At 45.
Usually they're saying to you, there's the door, man. At 45. At 35, they're telling you there's the door. His career is unlike any career we've ever seen.
Oh my goodness.
Anything. There's nothing that compares to it.
Unless you can say like a Magic Johnson. I mean, a Michael Jordan. Like maybe a Michael Jordan.
Man, maybe.
Jordan won 6 championships. Now he's the owner of Charlotte. He's had more endorsement deals than you know what to do with in his lifetime. But Tom Brady takes it to because Michael Jordan didn't play until he was 45. But Tom Brady takes it to a whole new level in terms of people wanting a piece of you, man. At a stage in his life when he should be out playing with the kids, out yachting somewhere, joining the Hamptons, so on and forth. I mean, that's a fairy tale life right there.
Well, I think something we've realized is Brady's not a big fan of being home.
Right.
As much as I want to drive the kids to school. Oh, okay. That lasted about 15 minutes. And then he realized, nah, I don't really want to be driving the kid. Let Giselle and the staff handle that.
Right.
Yeah. So, So
to be honest, if I had made the kind of money he's made, won the kind of championships he's won, I would have rode off into the sunset, maybe 41, 42, to be able to spend more time with the kids, to do what I wanted to do, whether it's just to sit on the back porch and drink a glass of iced tea, go fishing, go hunt, whatever you do. Man, I would love to be able to do that at that stage. I mean, I applaud his competitive juices, but at some point it's like, to me, enough is enough. What else do you want?
I just feel like you're also, and maybe this is what makes him great, and I don't have the right mentality for this, but I feel like
we can't think like he thinks.
I know. I'm looking at it like two things. One, dude, you've done it for 20-something years without, a real serious injury. I know he had the knee injury the 1 year, but he came back. But and you don't I don't know if he would tarnish the image is probably the wrong. He's done too much to do that, but you don't want to look like a lesser version of yourself. Get out while you're still on top. Yeah. But he's just got a different mindset than we do. That's
he's not playing for what we're playing for. Like he's not playing for just money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I mean,
it's competitive fire and legacy.
Yep. Yeah, it's not even the rings anymore. It's because he wants to do it, and because we're talking about it, that's why he's pissed off and wants to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's fair. No, I think you're right, Barrett. I think your read on it is dead on. All right, so I wanted to hit you guys with this. I don't know how big of fans you were, but 15 years ago was the series finale of The Sopranos.
Oh.
And not a lot of people love the way it ended. So if you remember the final scene, the family is in like a little dinerish kind of place. And Tony Soprano's there, the wife is there, and his son, and the daughter is kind of like pulling up her car. She was trying to parallel park, and then she walks in, and every second they're looking up like, well, where is she? Is this going to be her? Is this going to be her? Whatever. And then she finally gets there, and then boom, it just cut out. And a lot of people are like, I actually didn't mind it, because I think what he was trying to portray was you're always looking over your back. Like anybody who busted into that diner could have been coming and gunning for him and taking him out, as opposed to just, oh, here's my daughter, let's enjoy a meal or whatever. But a lot of people, I think, want it like a blood and guts last scene kind of thing.
Right.
I was okay with the way it ended, but a lot of people didn't like it.
I was ticked off. I was like waiting for this climatic ending, and I'm like, what? That's it? That's how you end this? I was so ticked off, man, because one part of me thought, okay, well, that leaves the door open for a sequel of some kind,
Yes.
And then, of course, what's James Gandolfo?
James Gandolfo, he died. Yeah, sadly died in real life, which I think Gunnar, you're right. There would have been had he not passed.
Yes. Yeah, I think that opened the door for a sequel, which would have been mega viewership. But I was disappointed that was how they decided to close out that particular series.
Yeah, I think, Barrett, that The Wire, you could probably throw Breaking Bad, are definitely my top 5. I mean, without question, my top 5. I mean, they're goats.
I was never really. I'm not really I don't watch stuff like that too much.
You don't watch a lot of series.
No, I don't.
Yeah. You're more of a movie kind of sports guy.
Well, I like car shows, man. I am a. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a Motor Trend guy. My TV's always on Motor Trend. It's always on Motor Trend. That's all I watch is Motor Trend. Motor Trend is car racing, fixing cars, putting cars together, engines, motors, motorcycle racing, putting motorcycles together, building motorcycles, building trucks. That's my thing. I love that type of stuff. I will sit down and watch shows like that all day.
Are you a DIY guy too? Because I know you're handy. Do you watch a lot of that, like fixing up houses and stuff?
I will watch DIY, but I also like to watch two series I do watch. It's I watch what do you call it? Grill Masters.
I love the one Pit Masters.
Pit Masters. Yeah. I watched that one, and I also watch this show where they make knives and build knives. The stream knows what is it? I'm also part of the Power now. I do watch Power too. You know what I'm saying?
What do they do? They make knives?
Yes. What it's called? Furnace? It's oh my goodness. What the stream's supposed to be? They're supposed to have it. What is it?
All right, who watches this?
They build swords.
Okay.
What is it called? Let me see.
All right. Well,
see, I'm a simple man of simple means. I love shows like Swamp People, River Monsters.
I watch River Monsters.
That guy traveled that British.
Yeah. Forged in Fire. Is it Forged in Fire?
Forged in Fire.
Props to East Side Monster.
Yes,
props.
sir. Here we go.
Yeah. And I love shows like The Last Frontier, shows people living in Alaska off the land. I'm like, you know what? You take a special mind to want to move to Alaska and live off the land and build your own house and all this. I'm like, man, unless you're on the run from the law, I ain't going to Alaska, bro. I can't do it.
Too much cold.
But then my wife gets me hooked on a couple of these shows. My wife and my daughter likes to watch them where, these couples go in and they renovate these people's houses, and you see the complete renovation and how it looks compared to the way it was, And there's a one show, I can't think of the name of it, where the two hosts, a man and a woman, try to get the couple to decide, the woman is like, okay,
stay or leave or stay.
Yeah, stay. Yeah. Either we go buy this house over here. This is what you're looking for. Where the other person says, well, I can renovate your house and show you this, that, or the other. I love those shows as well.
Is that Love It or List It?
Yeah,
that's it. Love It or List It. Stuff like that.
And I like those too. I'm a sucker for any kind of like cop like Dateline, 48 Hours,
Yeah.
2020. That you got me. Like I'm in. I love that.
Picture
stuff,
that.
man.
Picture that. You know,
Yeah.
that seems like your thing right there.
That is my
anyways,
kind
man.
of thing.
I
I'm
also
I'm
watch
definitely-
F1 racing though. You know what I'm saying? F1 racing.
We know you. So what's
You know.
where's the next one at?
Let me see, man. I gotta check, man. I know.
You and Xander love the F1.
Let me see. F1.
It's right up your alley, man.
I mean, I love it, man. I mean, just how fast some cars go and everything, bro. It's this weekend too.
Hey, Barrett, my other favorite show, Barrett, is Major League Fishing on the Outdoor Channel. I love Major League Fishing with bass fishing competition.
Right.
All the big names. I
you see your boy in there sometimes.
Who? Mike
Cole,
Iaconelli.
Trent Cole.
Oh, Trent Cole is on there.
Trent Cole's on that?
Occasionally now he's on there now.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
he's a big time guy. That's for sure. That's awesome, man. Love Trent. We had him on the show not all that long ago.
Now the shows I can't watch.
Baku.
I cannot watch.
Baku in Azerbaijan.
Okay.
Oh wow.
The shows I cannot watch. My wife will watch this show. It's called 90 Day Fiance. Have you seen this one?
No.
These people hook up, and get together, and they decide whether they're going to get married, and then all of a sudden the family gets involved and try to destroy. One person's from a different country, and you wonder, are you trying to get to America just are you trying to marry an American just so you can get an American visa?
Oh.
I mean, this show is like
like any kind of Bachelor. I'm out. I don't want anything to do with it. Get me out of here.
A show I cannot watch is like the Kardashians. I can't watch.
No, my god! Oh my goodness!
I can't stand. No.
Oh my goodness!
Any of it. I'm with you. Like it is. That's. I will sit there with nothing. I would rather watch nothing. I'd rather just sit outside and just take in nature and. That's somebody. Oh, I got a question. Is this a Dallas Cowboys? Is that a real question? Really? Are we asking that?
Where's that?
Philly 559.
Rob wearing a Dallas. Yes, he is Philly.
No, it's the warm-ups that we wore when we played in our labor classic. Barrett and I played. Cowboy shirt. Come on, man. Come on.
Well, you know what though, Rob? The way you're sitting right now,
it does look
like a top of a star.
It's not. Trust me, it's not. I'd be shirtless, and I'd torture you guys being shirtless for 3 hours before I would do that. Okay.
They tried you yesterday too, saying you had a Celtic green on.
I know. What are we doing? Come on, you guys know me better than that.
There's another show I cannot stand. Is Jersey Shore.
No,
I cannot watch that show. Make me want to puke.
No, thank you.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, how did you people get on TV?
Absolutely.
How's that possible?
All right, we got to roll, fellas. We got to roll. It's been a fun week. We'll be back at it Monday at noon. We're coming up next, the National Football Show with Dan Cilio. He's got you at 3 Eastern. Don't go anywhere. I want to thank our producer, Xander Krause. Guys, great job this week. Derek, Barrett, always fun hanging with you, man.
Yeah, man. Likewise.
Be safe, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys on Monday. Have a great week.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.